Well, it's great to have you here on a Wednesday afternoon. It'll be a What If Wednesday before it's all said and done. What if I told you Draymond's not getting suspended? That's the truth. We're going to be talking about that today. And what if I told you riding shotgun, our good friend John Dickinson. And it's great to see him, man. There aren't too many people I like seeing in that seat other than Ray. You're one of them, though. It's good to see you, man.
Yeah, likewise. It's great to be with you and looking forward to what should be a pretty fast 3 hours.
Well, I'm really glad that you're here today because I know that you have been around the Golden State Warriors. I won't even say as much because I think you've officially crossed all mileage of any other host here at 95.7 The Game. You're around them the most, literally traveling with the team throughout the playoffs. You are at games. You are constantly around this team. You're going to be back in the locker room when that opens up again to media. And your thoughts on everything that has happened, there's something that I want to know. I think our audience is interested in knowing about it. And man, oh man, this is the story that has not gone away, but the healing process can officially now begin. And there are so many different angles to this. JD. The one place I want to start is for the crowd that thinks they know more than us crowd.
All right.
Since this whole thing started on Thursday last week, was that it? Thursday last week. So we're in the week of this now.
Yeah, I think officially Wednesday, if you want to say that was the day.
That was the night of the practice.
That was the night of the practice, exactly.
So this happens a week from today, and we have had, it feels like the audience is really divided into two camps. Those who understand what the hell just happened here and how truly fragile sports locker rooms can be, and those who are so ingrained in either sounding tough or talking tough or pretending that, the streets dictate any and all sports interactions. If you have called into this program, Steiny and Guru, Willard or Dibbs, or the Morning Roast, if you have called into any of the shows at 95.7 The Game in the past week, or sent in anything on the text line, or were on the YouTube chat, or whatever, and your whole point was, this whole thing's not a big deal, well, forget about me telling you that you're wrong about that, and I did all week long, but you didn't believe me. Forget about Ray telling you that. Forget about Larry Krueger, who was in just the other day, telling you that. I'm sure you would have told everyone this has got the potential to be some serious earth-shaking level of nonsense that the Warriors are dealing with. Steve Kerr, no less than Steve Kerr, told you last night not to be interpreted or reinterpreted by you, the audience member who didn't think this was a big deal. He told you conclusively how big of a deal indeed it was.
This is the biggest crisis that we've ever had since I've been coach here. It's really serious stuff. We're not perfect. Our team isn't perfect. Bob and I have definitely made our share of mistakes over the years, but we're going to lean on the experience that we have together over the last 9 years and trust that this is the best decision for our team. We have a lot of work to do, all of us, players, coaches, Bob in the front office, but we're committed to doing that work together and to making this a really successful season.
JD, guys like you and me, we like to think our opinions matter, but they are constantly trumped by the reality of what the head coach believes. And if Steve believes this is the biggest thing that he's had to deal with, the biggest crisis since becoming the head coach, what more do you need to know?
It's a massive, massive deal, Damon, and he let everybody know. It does, though, immediately beg the question, well, if it is such a crisis, how could you not freaking suspend him? And I'm not saying that's my opinion, but a lot of people out there are thinking of it in that vein. How can it be the biggest crisis that you've had going all the way back to 2014 when Steve Kerr joined in that summer and not have it lead to a point where Draymond's sitting out a little bit more?
There's only one way to really answer that question, and that's because the team took a vote. Do you want to keep this going? I truly believe, based on what we've heard and what we know, if Jordan Poole wanted to insist that there be an embarrassment attached to this that was only to be recognized through a suspension, I think the Warriors might have suspended Draymond Green. But adult voices, mature voices, voices that are all very familiar with each other have agreed that this is the best path out of it. And I am no one to say, well, don't question authority. Whatever they think is definitely the best thing for the team. But in this case, I'm willing to give them the benefit of that doubt because they understand how their locker room functions better than anyone who lives outside of that locker room could ever understand it. And I think Steve Kerr and Steph Curry have earned enough house credit to just say, well, you got to trust that they've got the right way out of this. And if they believe this is the right way out of it, then therefore it is.
I think you could make the case, Damon, that it's the only path out of it that has a chance to be successful for this particular franchise in this particular moment. And what I mean by that is Draymond Green's already on record going back to the Kevin Durant suspension and that incident in 2018, saying he was ticked off by the fact that the team handled it the way that they did and he got suspended. He already came out and apologized for it. And I think you're right. Jordan Poole deserves an awful lot of credit for being man enough to tell the team, hey, I'm cool with this guy. I can play with him. We can move forward. I think that helps accelerate this. But if you put Draymond in a position where you potentially lose him because, you're suspended him for 10 days or 2 weeks or 5 games or whatever the hell it is, that means no more championships.
Right. Now you've cut off your nose to spite your face.
Before the season even starts, the season at that point is wrecked. The other part of the deal for me, though, is they want it over with now. And Steve Kerr alluded to, hey, we're going to get some criticism. Basically, bring it. We're going to get criticized for this. A lot of people are not going to like the decision that we're making. But as an organization, we would rather take that heat over the last 6 days here before the regular season starts than what would be coming if we drag this thing into the regular season by suspending Draymond and he's missing games, then he's coming back, then he's got to address it, then everybody's got to address it. They want to wipe it all out right now and give themselves a chance to Jordan Poole's cool. Draymond's been fined. He's going to be back and ready to roll. And now it's all about the basketball. And then it doesn't guarantee that it's going to work, but it gives you the best chance to check every box, which is bringing people together and seeing if your culture can handle it, but also winning a lot of games. And you can see if that can help assuage some of the issues that have gone through this thing and give yourself the best chance to defend the title, which in the end is what this is all about.
John Dickinson in today for Ray Ratto, Damon and Ratto, brought to you by BMW Fairfield, now open in the Fairfield Auto Mall. You can visit bmwfairfield.com today to book your visit. What I really want you to do is call 888-957-9570 to book your visit to talk about this today because, to suspend or not to suspend has been the question. We now have the answer, what you think about it, what you think about Draymond's role on the team going forward, because I'll tell you, I could see how this could still go sideways. I also could see this being, and it's, Jordan Poole's not going to want to hear this, but a blessing in disguise for the Golden State Warriors when you start looking about the long terms and the hard goodbyes that are going to need to be said eventually. Maybe this makes a hard goodbye a little bit easier. Is it going to be a hard welcome for Draymond Green at Chase Center? I'm not talking about Friday night. Is he going to hear the boo birds at Chase Center? I do think some will come out from him because we do live in a society that just is so proud of what a bunch of unforgiving a-holes we are. But I guess my point is if the team is cool with this and you rock with the team, you almost by default have to be cool with it too. It might be hard to root for Draymond the way you used to root for the guy. I also think it's completely ridiculous to say, I have so thoroughly turned on him that I am not rooting for him anymore because Draymond, should this team defend its championship, I promise you this, you're going to be right in the middle of it.
He'd have to be, and there will be boos, I think, on Friday. And I think there'll even be some boos on Tuesday at the ring ceremony as he's introduced with all of that. I think he knows it and is accepting of it, and I think that's just there is a certain percentage of the Warrior fan base that I do think is just kind of done with it. Like, you brought all this great stuff to the table, you still brought some things to the table at the end of the Celtics series that helped them win this fourth NBA championship, but I think everything that's gone on. I know we got a lot of events and apologies we're going to run through between now and 6
at 4:00.
Yeah,
we're going to play Name That Incident.
Love it. No, I absolutely love it. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I think that's where the exhaustion comes from a fan. Here's the difference, though. The organization for this season, he can opt out. It could be 2 years and done. Poole can say he wants this. None of that can happen right now today. Like, they're almost forced into trying to make this thing work the best they can for this season. And so I think when you look at that, that's how they came to this conclusion that they were going to fine but not suspend and try and get everything rolling back in a positive direction as quickly as possible.
Never a dull moment, including the JV team last night ripping the JV Portland Trailblazers, and I'm going to tell you right now, this has the chance to be the deepest Warriors team since Sean Livingston was coming off the bench. What an impressive couple of performances from newcomers and rookies that we actually need to talk about today. An awful lot on Steve Kerr, a fascinating press conference where he told you, anyone who wanted to downplay this, you literally read the tea leaves as wrong as humanly possible. Your compass was pointed south. The true north of this is the biggest crisis the Warriors have faced in the Steve Kerr era. He admitted that himself. Can't argue with the man who tells you what just happened to him. So we got an awful lot to get into today. Your phone calls are not just welcome, but encouraged. 888-957-9570. Jeff Wilson Jr., 49ers running back, is going to be joining us at 5 o'clock from the Greenbrier. We're looking forward to that, and we're looking forward to talking to you. Make sure you text the word 49ers to 20357 for all of the best content that we've got here on 95.7 The Game. You hit that subscribe button, and boom, everyone will be happy.
Grateful Dead members Mickey Hart, Bill Kreutzmann, and Bobby Weir, along with John Mayer, Jeff Chimenti, and Oteil Burbridge, take to the stage as Dead & Company for the final tour. Performing 2 sets of music drawing largely from the Dead's historic catalog of songs. Dead & Company, the final tour. See them live at Oracle Park Friday, July 14th and Saturday, July 15th. Get tickets Friday, October 14th at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
If I'm being totally honest, I cannot stop thinking about them coming.
This is the moment you've been waiting for. Blink-182 are coming, live in concert. Tour 2023. Travis Barker, Tom DeLonge, and Mark Hoppus. Together again. Blink-182 with special guest Turnstile. SAP Center at San Jose, June 22nd. Get tickets this Monday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
If you owe back taxes to the IRS, have unfiled returns, or are worried about an audit, the IRS is hiring 87,000 new agents to address these very issues. That means if you need to get your tax problems resolved, now is the time to get started. I'm tax attorney Robert Goldstein, and my firm specializes in helping individuals and small businesses resolve their tax problems. We work to stop IRS and state seizures. We may be able to settle your tax debt for pennies on the dollar with an offer in compromise. We prepare your past due returns, even if you have no records, and represent you before the IRS and state in an audit. At the law offices of Robert Goldstein, the consultation is always free, and we have offices located throughout the Bay Area. To schedule your free consultation, call 1-888-TAX-EXIT. That's 888-TAXEXIT. 888-TAX-EXIT, and make us your last stop.
It's the bottom of the ninth, the game's on the line, and your small business needs a loan fast. What's your move? Go to OnDeck.com, America's largest online small business lender. With OnDeck, you can apply in minutes, and if approved, get your funds as soon as the same day. Go to OnDeck.com. Your loan is on deck. Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank, a Utah Chartered Industrial Bank member FDIC. Limited eligibility for same-day funding. OnDeck does not lend in every state. All loans subject to lender approval.
Attention, guys. By now, you should know that when it comes to meal enhancement pills, most of these contain the same ingredients that are repackaged over and over again. Why take the same old when you can perform in the bedroom with confidence at the highest level? That's why Noxitril needs to be on your bedstand. If you thought that the little blue pill works well, wait till you try Noxitril. It's like Viagra on steroids. Thousands of men each week have switched from that prescription blue pill to Noxitril. That's because Noxitril is automatic. No need to worry anymore. When it's time to perform, we've got this. Explosive results you can count on with no side effects, no stuffy nose. We want every man to try Noxitril, so call now and take advantage of our special free bottle offer today. Oh, and as a reminder, please use the Noxitril dose as directed. It's that strong.
Call right now and get your free supply. Call 800-486-1608. That's 800-486-1608. It's like Viagra on steroids. Improve your sex life with your free supply. Call 800-486-1608. That's 1-800-486-1608.
From carriage house to glass aluminum doors, R&S Doors has a full line of commercial and residential garage doors and gates to suit anyone's taste and budget. Visit rsdoors.com. R&S Doors. Look for the red truck.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. A bottle of Gum Out Fuel Injector Cleaner can clean your entire system and help your engine get more MPGs. Right now, you can get 2 bottles for only $7. A great deal to help you go a good deal farther. Find Gum Out Fuel Injector Cleaner and everything you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,200 stores.
Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Today's Throwback Thought is brought to you by Kentucky Fried Chicken. Let's take some callers. Tony from Houston. Any throwbacks for us?
Yeah, hi. I remember when you could get a whole meal for just $6. But now?
You still can with KFC's 2-piece drum and thigh combo. Crispy chicken, mashed potatoes, a biscuit, and a drink for just $6.
Is this an ad?
Thanks, Tony. Order KFC's 2-piece drum and thigh combo on the KFC app for just $6. That's finger licking good. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer. Tax extra.
Get what you want and pay over time when you use your Lowe's Advantage Card. Now through October 26, 2022. Ask for 0% APR with 36 fixed monthly payments on a product installation or appliance purchase of $1,000 or more. Shop for the appliances you want in-store or online. Or go to the store nearest you for installation. Now at Lowe's. Offer subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store Lowes.com for details. U.S. only.
You might not have the biggest garage on the block, but with eBay Motors, there's 122 million parts right at your fingertips. Whatever you need, there's something that fits your vehicle. Air filters, tires, seat covers, and more. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Now back to Damon and Ratto on 95.7 The Game. Brought to you by BMW Fairfield. Now open in the Fairfield Auto Mall. Visit BMWFairfield.com today to book your visit.
It is great to have you here, Damon and Ratto. Ray is out this week, and John Dickinson, nice enough to slip into Ray's chair today. A great day to have you here, man, with all this Warriors news coming back around to center stage. And, you know, somebody says, as a sports fan, we're exhausted by this. Imagine how the Warriors feel. Imagine how the Warriors have felt. And again, not to, play the you were wrong card, but if at any point in time in the past week, your point was this is no big deal, why are we talking about it? There's a reason why you sit in an audience and you don't make editorial decisions, because you don't get where the story lies. Steve Kerr has said conclusively, this is the single biggest crisis I have faced as a head coach. I mean, that is a pretty revealing statement from him.
It is. And for the texter that says we're exhausted by it, the Warriors are also exhausted by it, which is why they decided they were going to pull themselves up and say no more. Right. Like, we're not letting this thing bleed into the regular season. We're going to bring Draymond back into the fold. All boxes have been checked as far as people being on the same page with it, from ownership to Bob Myers to Steve to Jordan Poole, who may be the most important person in this whole thing? How does he feel about the willingness to be a teammate with Draymond Green again? You've got Steph Curry and Kevon Looney and everybody working behind the scenes. Andre Iguodala, we were talking about him in the green room, his ability to lead and get everybody back on the same page. They're exhausted by it too. That's the point, and I think that's why they've taken the stance that they don't want to further any negativity by expanding the punishment beyond where it had already gotten to.
And someone, again, on the Xfinity Mobile text line says, the biggest crisis for Steve Kerr? Like, what about Klay Thompson's injuries? Those are injuries. Injuries are part of the game. And as much as people out there want to insist practice fights are part of the game, they're not part of the game the way that injuries are. And practice fights, even though Steve Kerr admits, like, I've seen 20 of them in my days as a player, in my days as a coach, he's never seen, obviously, it ripple through a locker room the way that this has rippled through the Warriors locker room. And before we start taking calls here, JD, 888-957-9570. Again, you can weigh in on the text line. Our YouTube chatters, you're all going nuts. We are on Twitch. We're on YouTube. Want to say hello. Who we got out here today? Sammy K, Drew Down. We got regulars. We got Otis Bird III, the king of all of our chatters. Hello to all of you. Hello, and thank you for listening. It's great to have you there today. This was a really big deal, and it's something that I think you and I forget. Well, I mean, I don't want to talk for you. It's something that I forget, and I shouldn't. It's something that I know that you know, and you shouldn't forget it. We want to think these teams, all big, tough, strong, well-paid, multimillionaire men who have so much confidence that there's literally no kink in the armor anywhere you look, just nothing but Titan after Titan after Titan after Titan. Sports are fragile. Sports are fragile. Egos, fragile. Reputations, fragile. Locker rooms, fragile. Team chemistry, fragile. Keeping a dynasty, if keeping a dynasty going weren't fragile, there'd be a lot more dynasties in our day and time. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And something that I think that fans don't comprehend, and maybe a little bit of that is, you know, on our poorly framing of it, is two things can really tear a franchise apart. Compounding losing after losing after losing season, and in a really weird way, JD, success. Success is one of those other things that can really pull a team apart and expose fragility. You know, Pat Riley, you know, was famous for calling it the disease of more. Mm-hmm. You know, success happens, everyone asks for more. Everybody wants their hand out. You know, victory has 1,000 fathers and defeat is an orphan. Dealing with success pulls teams apart all the time. And for this team to have sustained so much success is really something else. And if you're looking for, like, what's the thread that you could pull on that could maybe start unraveling it, clearly Steve Kerr, Bob Myers, and Steph Curry himself identified this as one of those moments. And if they didn't get around it, it could drown them.
You could make the case, and I would, that the Warriors are one of very few, or maybe the only franchise in the four major sports that could have the situation that unfolded a week ago today and has played out over the last 7 days, could handle it in the manner they're handling it, and it actually give them the best chance to succeed moving forward in terms of getting everybody as close to back on the same page as possible, and also winning games in a fashion to where you're still going to be, come April, May, and June, a contender for an NBA championship. It's not, you know, the Orlando Magic could not get away with this.
How do you think the Knicks would be doing this afternoon?
It is, even though it defies logic, I think, to many, the fact that something could be the biggest crisis in a decade, for lack of clarity on the math, biggest crisis in a decade, yet no tangible consequences, or consequences that don't appear, Damon, to match up with the crime, so to speak. So I think this is where the Warriors are putting themselves out there and saying, we're uniquely equipped to handle it this way. Doesn't mean it's going to work, but it's the best possible scenario for us to all heal in a manner where we can move forward and try and run it back one more time to win a title.
Right. And look, the Warriors can't say, hey, look at us. What a bunch of Zamboni drivers we are, making this the smoothest sheet of ice to go. They hit bumps on this. The Warriors have not handled this perfectly. I don't think anybody is cloaked in glory when it comes to just how this entire situation got handled, because it's how they framed it, then it's what it became, and now it's the aftermath, and a lot changed in all of that. They might have even painted themselves into this corner before the leak happened, and they would look hypocritical for backing out of the corner that they said was going to be the way that they were going to kind of play it. So there are no better angels involved really in any of this. Nobody got it all the way right, but there were so many different ways to get it all the way wrong. And the Warriors, I think, avoided all of them, hopefully, on the way to, again, as you said, the season starting on Tuesday, whether you guys have kissed and made up or not. So it is incumbent to kiss and make up whether you want to or not, because that's the true definition of professional, is doing something when you don't want to do it.
Well, and if it can't work and it doesn't work and they wind up in shambles because of it, or they can't win an NBA championship because of it, then you figure out who has to go next July and not necessarily right now, because doing it right now wrecks 2 seasons.
Right.
Like, you do it right now, this season's in essence done before it starts. Right now you're giving yourself a chance, and I absolutely believe, Damon, that the Warriors took into account in the calculus of managing all of this the fact that they were going to handle it and had made the decision to handle it a certain way prior to the video leak, where it was, nobody really knows how bad it looked except for us. We're going to keep it internal, and that means, in all likelihood, no suspension, some time away to allow Draymond and Jordan and everybody to heal from it. Once the video came out, though, I think as the days went on, they looked themselves in the mirror and said, we cannot adjust the punishment just because the video looks worse than anything that anybody could have possibly imagined, because at that point it almost devalues Jordan Poole to an extent of, well, you know, you're handling it one way, but now that the video's out, you feel like you got to protect me in a different manner. Well, you should have done it to begin with.
Right.
Hypocrisy as you laid out. But I think part of, no, we're going to put our head down and we're going to let people come at us for not suspending him, but we're not going to be hypocritical to a player that we're about to pay 9 figures.
Church tabernacle right there from my man John Dickinson in for Ray Ratto today. By the way, we're brought to you by BMW Fairfield, now open in the Fairfield Auto Mall. Visit BMWFairfield.com today to book your visit. We had a visit yesterday with Festus Ezeli, and we're about to take all these calls right here. But here's what Festus said yesterday here on the air, talking about how the entire NBA was hoping that this would be what brought the Warriors down.
I saw everybody else in the NBA being excited to see the Warriors have some issue, because this has been a high-character organization for such a long time. And what is the thing that can break this team down? It's something where they feel like, okay, well, the players themselves have to break this down, because the trades haven't affected them. Kevin Durant leaving has not affected them. They still won a championship. So what can we do, and what can happen to break this dynasty down? Because we don't stand a chance of winning. This is how I see it anyway. So everybody got excited because they saw, oh, well, this could be the thing. I don't think this is going to be the thing. Steve Kerr, Steph Curry, Draymond Green is a leader. He's a born leader. And when the time comes, I've seen him play his best basketball after making, being suspended in a Game 5 of in the finals. So I just say that this is just going to be one of those tests. The adversity came early in the season, which you don't expect it to after a championship season, but you grow and you show your true character in moments like this. So I think this is just an opportunity for everybody to understand who the Golden State Warriors are.
And you can't do this with anything or maybe even anyone less than the triumvirate of personalities that Kerr, Curry, and Bob Myers combine to define this team. The three of them, coach, star player, GM, have about as an important a three-man relationship. It's the most important three-man weave in basketball. I mean, it really, truly is, and it will be, they're telling us, what sees the Warriors through this situation.
Yeah, at least gives them a shot to, because there are no guarantees. And I think everybody involved in this situation understands the fact that we may look back months from now or at the end of the season and go, they tried to do it a certain way and that didn't work. Because even if somebody says, even if Jordan Poole says, I'm cool with this, I'm ready to move on, I don't want to mess with it, that doesn't mean that there's going to be underlying resentment over the fact that we all make decisions. Hey, you know what? I'm going to roll with this in a given situation in life, but you don't really want to.
Sounds good for a couple of weeks, and then it starts gnawing at you.
And then immediately, you're resentful of something that you've agreed to do. So it's kind of, in a manner, it's on you, but you can have that create a negative energy, which can be problematic in its own right. So they're taking that risk that none of that is going to bleed through, and everybody will see it. And then the whole thing falls apart like a house of cards.
The theme of the day is fragile. This is all very, very fragile. This is Robert in Emeryville. Robert, thank you for listening. Thank you for calling. You're on 95.7 The Game. What do you got?
Man, I'm glad I finally got on. I've been waiting for a minute. But
don't complain. No, what do you got, Robert?
None. I just wanted to say, man, Draymond is from a different era than Jordan Poole. You know what I'm saying? Jordan Poole was born after the year 2000. I feel like a lot of people born after the year 2000 think it's okay to talk and say anything, but as soon as somebody hit him in the mouth, then immediately, you know what I'm saying, they offended. You know what I mean? And Draymond is from an era where if you talk, then you let people know that you're ready for some action. And it's been a known fact that Jordan Poole is a talker. So I think he kind of was feeling his oats and, you know what I'm saying, feeling good about himself and got to talking too much. And then
let me tell you, there's been a lot of people that I'm sure have chirped back at Draymond throughout the years. I don't know if anyone got served up the knuckle sandwich quite like Jordan Poole. And if he did, if there have been other guys, we don't know about it. But let me tell you, Jordan Poole, he owns Draymond. I mean, there's no. Draymond has just told Jordan Poole, like, you know where my buttons are, and you can obviously push them. Like, Draymond is a supreme you-know-what talker from the old school. When you're from the old school, you can't go about proclaiming how old school you are when you got kids from the new school popping you off. Yeah, I mean, you just can't. Like, and what I think will be the ramification of this is that Draymond is always going to be an on-court leader. But that off-court leader, that whole I'm a mentor, you're an apprentice, I think that's gone. I think that's gone now, and I don't know if the younger guys on this team, Kuminga, Moody, Patrick Baldwin Jr., Rollins, the rookies on this team, I don't know if any of them are ever going to look up at Draymond on this pedestal of leadership and, man, I want to have a career, like his. I'd like to be successful. I'd like my years with the Warriors to put as many banners in the rafters as his has.
Sure.
But is this someone that I really want to model myself after? Is this someone who I can count on can I really count on him to be there for me? And Draymond has created that doubt. And he's going to have to prove to everyone that they can count on him again. And how he goes about doing that, I do not know. I really, I don't know the path out of this. And I don't know if any of them do. They're trusting everyone to sort of find their own level in this.
Yeah, it's not going to be awkward. Does Draymond come at somebody verbally in the same way that maybe he would in the past? Because now you don't want it to reach an escalation point. Not that something like this would happen again, but is the chatter different? Is it chatter about basketball that's now acceptable? Maybe chatter about other things, contracts, whatever, personality types? Because I do get, when this all broke, it was not a surprise to me, given the history of their relationship, which has been put on the record, but also just the fact that, Draymond believes in a code and the way you carry yourself and hard work. And I could see Draymond looking at Jordan Poole and from a good place, thinking, hey, man, I understand you're about to get paid a lot of money, but you still got to work as hard as you've been working. That doesn't mean that you just, you get cute and you're, prancing around and you're acting like you're already Steph Curry. So I'm going to come at you hard because I want you to be able to understand that this is just the start of the process. It's a great achievement and you've earned it. It's not about not earning it. It's about continue to keep earning it, because that level is what continues to help us win NBA championships, to where you're not somebody that plays in the first round and has to get benched in the second round because of your defense and things like that. Like, don't think that you've completely arrived in that manner. Doesn't make what Draymond did right. I want to make sure I point that out, but I do think that is underlying in how we got to this point a little bit.
It sounded like he was incredibly upset by the fact that Jordan Poole and Moses Moody thought themselves shooting equals in a three-point shooting contest that took place over in Japan. And you even heard Clay playfully say, hey, Jordan, hold that loss. They were happy to beat down the young guys. Every older brother's happy to keep the younger brother at bay. The way that Draymond took glee in that, Draymond couldn't win a game of horse against, I'm guessing, a lot of people in the audience, much less other NBA players who are shooters. Draymond's a bad shooter. Full stop. Jordan Poole is infinitely better at Draymond in that regard, to the point where he thinks himself on the level with Steph and Clay. And Draymond, get on our level. I dare you. You can't hang in the shooter. There's a shooter side of the gym, and Draymond, I don't care how much cred you got, you ain't on this side of the gym. And I think that pissed Draymond off. I think he was very territorial about Jordan Poole thinking his reputation now belongs side by side with Steph and Curry and with Steph and Clay. And I don't think Steph and Clay need that watchdog for their reputations anymore.
No, they definitely don't. And I also think there's a pecking order, or in essence, a tier system of it's the Steph, Clay, Draymond tier. Maybe Iguodala hangs out in that tier as well. And then you draw a line and it's everybody else. Maybe Kevon Looney gets invited up once in a while to hang.
Wiggs, come on out.
Wiggs here and there, but the rest. But even for those guys that haven't been there for all four of the championships, it's a matter of invite only, or act and conduct yourself a certain way when spoken to, and you can join the party.
Right.
Doesn't make it right, but all of those dynamics, I wonder how much they have to change now because of this incident.
Everyone here is equal, but some are more equal than others. Right. This is Scott in Oakland. Thank you, Scott. What do you got?
Hey, man, appreciate y'all taking my call. I got 2 points, man, I want to make. First, Draymond Green, you didn't show this aggression with Tristan Thompson the 2 times that he put his hands on you. You didn't show that aggression towards him. And 2, my second point is, this whole thing is Jordan Poole's fault, man. I'm going to tell you why it's Jordan Poole's fault. Where we grew up at, the first rule your mama taught you was don't never let nobody put their hands on you without hitting them back. All right? Draymond Poole, he talked all that jazz. He opened his mouth. He bumped his gums. Guess what? You got to be ready to defend yourself, bro. You got to. You can't stand there with your hands down. You push that dude.
I'm gonna say that I'm gonna give Jordan the benefit of the doubt, only because that's the same team right there. It's same team. And for 2 guys who got reputations of being talkers and trash talkers, there's an element of same team there that didn't have Jordan in the moment. And you can say all you want about the shove, okay? Who's the first guy to touch the other guy? It was Draymond Green. I'm going to tell you right now, Scott, you said that your dad told you don't ever let another man put his hands on you. One of the things I'm going to teach my kids is you don't ever let another man step to you like that. To me, the first act of aggression was now you're standing underneath my chin.
Yeah.
That's the first act of aggression in my mind. And I'm not letting anybody stand underneath my chin trying to get up in my kitchen. No. So that to me, the rubber does not meet the road there. I don't think Jordan Poole is responsible for this because he wasn't ready to fight, yet you're also saying that he threw the first punch. So if the guy wasn't ready to fight, how did he throw the first punch? Come on.
Can't have it both ways on that front. David.
Just can't.
No.
But thank you for the call. Thank you for listening. Gene in Oakland. Hello, Gene.
Hey, fellas. Please hear me out on this. As I've said many times, I always have to preface anything about Draymond is I love Draymond, okay? I mean, I've gone to bat for him for many years now, but I'm deeply disappointed in this decision by the organization. I really think for everybody's sake, all right, including Draymond's and especially Jordan's, he needed to be punished for what he did, all right? What he's gotten now, he's got a get out of jail free card, and yeah, so he's gone away and he's reflected on it and he's listened to a couple of Deepak Chopra tapes or whatever. But do we truly believe that this is never going to happen again? I mean, he doesn't have an anger problem; he has a rage problem. All right. And then from Pool's standpoint, 2 days ago, I was reading. He didn't want anything to do with Draymond. He didn't want to talk to him. He was so angry. Now, what changed his mind? Did the team come up to him and say, "Just accept it or else"? Or did they sweeten the pot for this extension? I don't know what happened.
Well, Gene, here's the thing. We're running towards a break here. You bring up very good points. I don't think any of us will really understand the inner workings of how all of this happened, but I guarantee you that Steph Curry, talking about what really matters, set a lot of guys back on track. As to what is the guarantee this doesn't happen again, as to your disappointment in the punishment, that's the conversation we're going to pick up on the other end of this break, Gene. So keep on listening. Thank you for the call. If you'd like to get on the line that Gene just vacated, you can. 888-957-9570. And again, coming up next hour, name that incident. We sure do have a lot of them. So stick around. It's Damon and JD, Damon and Ratto here on 95.7 The Game. We're brought to you by Fremont Bank, full service banking, no compromises.
Why spend hours negotiating with a car salesman to get the best price for a vehicle you want to buy? At BMW of Fairfield, we give you our very best, most competitive price right up front. By eliminating the price negotiation process, we create a comfortable environment that helps our guests enjoy an experience that's often hostile and difficult at other dealerships. There is a better way. Experience it for yourself at BMW of Fairfield. One price, one person, 1 hour.
Dr. Trudy Fleer here with the 5G Home Recovery Podcast. Let's discuss a very real existential threat to internet speed. It's a big one. Ready? T-Mobile Home Internet. It lags. Ugh. Now, what is lag? Lag is a delay in data being transmitted across the internet. For example, you're hitting that hot drop, the parachute cuts out, you've got an unsuspecting bot in your sights, and lag! You were actually eliminated 10 seconds ago. Nobody deserves that. So stop letting T-Mobile Home Internet ruin everything and switch to Xfinity. Learn more at xfinity.com/TMOFax.
Get an amazing value on Xfinity Internet with unlimited data included. Switch for $55 a month for 2 full years with no annual contract required and no equipment fees for 24 months. Go to xfinity.com/TMOFax, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store to learn more. Requires paperless billing and autopay. Ends 10/17/22. Restrictions apply. New fast internet and xFi Complete customers only. xFi Gateway required. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. After 24 months, regular rates apply to all services and devices.
Everything, our farm, our stand, our pop-up shop, it really all started when we discovered the benefits of local, raw honey for our family.
And then we decided to turn it into a business.
We were looking for something to help us get up and running.
So we got the Chase Business Complete Banking Account.
It's more than a bank account. It comes with Quick Accept, which lets us take card payments anytime, anywhere in the U.S. using the Chase mobile app. Plus, we get same-day deposits at no extra cost. For us, it's more than honey. It's about sharing a little sweetness with the world.
Get the Chase Business Complete Banking Account with the essentials you need to help get your business going. Learn more at chase.com/business-complete-banking. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Quick Accept is not available in U.S. territories. Enrollment required. Usage subject to approval. Same-day deposits available for payments before 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday to Friday. Fees and rates apply for checking and processing. Limitations and restrictions apply. Participants compensated. Merchant services provided by Payment Tech LLC and WePay Inc. Subsidiaries of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
O'Reilly
O'Reilly Auto Parts specializes in keeping your car on the road. Not sure how much life is left in your battery? Our professional parts people will test it for free. If it does need to be replaced, we'll help you find just the right one to fit your car. Our Superstart batteries are built to handle even the toughest conditions. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Do you have neuropathy? Are you experiencing numbness, tingling, and pain that just won't stop? Are you taking dangerous drugs that have serious side effects and never fix the pain? If so, please listen to this message. Neuropathy is a serious, progressive condition that only gets worse if not treated properly. Call SF Bay Wellness at 844-94-NERVE to get back to doing the things you want to do. There is no drug, exercise, or surgery that can heal nerves. Don't wait until your condition gets worse and stops you from living your life fully. SF Bay Wellness has a time-tested, proven track record of helping hundreds of patients to improve and reverse their neuropathy. If you're ready to regain your independence, contact SF Bay Wellness at 844-94-NERVE. Call now for your $99 neuropathy special and receive a personal treatment plan that is tailored to your needs. Call 844-94-NERVE. That's 844-94-NERVE and start to enjoy life again.
Are you thinking about getting a new TV this week at prime prices? Maybe a Samsung, LG, or a Sony? Before you click, you should check out Video Only because they've got below prime deals. That's right, top-rated TVs at better than online prices. Curbside pickup or home delivery are available. Don't click before you call Video Only because if you do, you'll be sorry.
Fantasy football leagues are won on the waiver wire, and with trades, and with savvy starter sit decisions. The Fantasy Football Today podcast will help you along the way with the best advice on how to manage your team and dominate your league. With 8 episodes per week, Fantasy Football Today is the only resource you'll need. Start sit, grade the trade, fantasy cops to settle your league disputes, and so much more. Check out Fantasy Football Today, anywhere podcasts are found.
Kansas City Steak Company, another AmericanEagle.com success story. Started in 1932 as a family-owned butcher shop, today they're a leading distributor of superior all-American steaks delivered right to your door, ready for the grill and your taste buds. When it came to their website, an average site wouldn't do. They chose AmericanEagle.com to take their website to the next level. With a dramatic increase in competition and a softening market demand, they had 2 challenges: improve their brand presence and message, and produce a positive return. AmericanEagle.com got to work and executed usability studies and detailed audits of site experience, digital assets, and marketing. The result? An integrated digital marketing and customer experience plan, organic traffic increase of 20%, and a long-term roadmap for success. If you love great steaks, go to KansasCitySteaks.com for website design, development, and online solutions that bring efficiency and results. Visit AmericanEagle.com. If you need a results-driven website, call the team at AmericanEagle.com at 877-WEBNOW1. That's 877-WEBNOW1.
Now back to Damon and Ratto, brought to you by BMW Fairfield on 95.7 The Game.
It is fantastic to have John Dickinson in for Ray Ratto today here. Welcome on back to Damon and Ratto. And by the way, just because we like to correct any mistakes that we or the audience might even be making in real time, Jordan Poole is not one of those born after the millennium babies. He is born in 1999. It was very close, but he's still coming in under 2000s. So we got to get that right. I love when people admit to explain it to me like I'm 6. And a guy on the Xfinity mobile text line, JD, says, Damon, I'm sitting in the back of the room and I must be the lead moron because even after seeing the video and putting it in context of 2 players getting into it during practice, I still don't see it as such a big deal. And I can only presume that you are applying your just rock-solid, unshakable mentals to this situation as everyone functioned as if you would function through it. And that's just not the way it works. You know, how Jordan Poole feels and is affected by this, that's what makes this a big deal. How Draymond Green feels and is affected, how every guy in that locker room feels and is affected by this makes it a big deal, as we're been saying, kind of setting up the theme of today's show. Sports are fragile. What action is the action that pulled on the thread that made the entire sweater come apart? Well, that could be a million different things. That's why teams are constantly looking to eliminate distractions, right?
Yes.
You hear that over and over and over. We're looking to eliminate distractions. It's the best way to get through this all.
The entire way that the Warriors have handled this, with Steve Kerr coming out last night in the post-game press conference, to me, is them saying there will be no more distractions about this. That's the biggest statement. Jordan Poole still has to speak. That's the last step. We'll see if he gets paid a 9-figure contract extension by the time that he does. But to me, that was the loudest statement made last night. We're not having any more distractions about this issue as we prepare to play that 82-game schedule.
Just to let you know that, our barometers are not all set the same. What you say was no big deal, and you can't even quite figure out why it's a big deal. Here's how Steve Kerr feels about it, and I guess the way he feels about it trumps any and all of our opinions about it.
This is the biggest crisis that we've ever had since I've been coach here. It's really serious stuff. We're not perfect. Our team isn't perfect. Bob and I have definitely made our share of mistakes over the years, but we're going to lean on the experience that we have together over the last 9 years and trust that this is the best decision for our team. We have a lot of work to do, all of us, players, coaches, Bob in the front office, but we're committed to doing that work together and to making this a really successful season.
So, to get back to what Gene in Oakland, who made a very good phone call to us right before we took a break, JD, he said, what happens the next time? What happens if this happens the next time? Spectacular question. And the answer is, God forbid we ever have to find out. And what I imagine is part of the, hey, Draymond, you're not being suspended for ring night conversation. I would imagine that there was a very serious ultimatum put on that, JD. And that ultimatum was simply any action from you, Draymond, that even approaches the neighborhood of where we've been living for the last week. Anything you do to disrupt the progress or rob the confidence from one of your own teammates will be met with such swift financial, reputational ramifications and harm that, believe me, habitual line stepper, that ain't a line you ever want to even come close to again. And we're not trying to rob you of you either. The chip on your shoulder is your greatest attribute. But Draymond, anything that looks remotely like this means your career with the Golden State Warriors will come to an end in that next moment.
And it still may happen that way.
And it still could happen.
Even with even without another incident, his career with the Golden State Warriors could be over. They're just trying to kick the can down the road to give this season its best opportunity to maybe bring an NBA championship. So yeah, I think that the obvious point, and it's still a salient one, is, if anything like this happens again, okay, that's a wrap. But the reality is, this happened so close to the beginning of a title defense that I think in many ways it's like, well, what the heck can we even do that protects everybody the best way possible, but still allows a shot at going and running it back and winning a title? And you know what? This may still be such an egregious act and situation to where either he's going to opt out at the end of the year and he's gone, or he's going to opt in at the end of the year and we're going to send him packing because, meaning trade him somewhere else. But you can't do that in this moment with everything so chaotic and frenetic.
I actually think that if you wanted to, squint and try to look at this as maybe the best way possible, the positive of this, the upside of this is, hey, maybe you really get a all-hands-in, pot-committed Draymond Green in a way that makes you forget about this, and 3 weeks from now we're talking about how, man, he looks better than he has in a year. Maybe. Sure. So maybe this gets a full buy-in on great teammate from Draymond Green going forward.
But he looked great up until the point where he popped Jordan Poole a week ago.
Sure did. There's that. And what I also think now is it makes one of the hardest goodbyes and this team's got some hard goodbyes coming up in its distant decisions. It makes what would have been on the surface a hard goodbye a little bit of an easier goodbye. Draymond Green, I don't think is ever going to get Irish goodbyed. I mean, he is an important. Look at it this way. I don't know where the statue goes, but I think I know who's on it, and he's on it. He's part of the statue. Draymond gets a freaking statue when it's said and done. And he deserves and has earned that statue. What kind of a contract do you want to give Draymond Green? I've been saying probably not another one. I think we now have the exit plan. I think it's all in front of the Warriors now. Draymond is under contract this year. He has a player option for the following year. I'm assuming he exercises it. And if he does, I think that's going to be okay because A, hopefully you're getting the best out of him from here on out. And B, I don't think I want to be in business with Draymond Green 2 years more than 2 years down the road. And this now is a smooth exit ramp from a player who, when it does start to officially end for him physically, I think it ends very quickly.
Absolutely. And I think that the 2-year plan, it may not even be 2 years, but it could be 2 years at the maximum.
Would you want a 5-year contract for Draymond right now?
No, the answer is no.
Right.
The answer is, without a doubt, no, you're not doing that. But you also, you give yourself, you see how it plays out. You give yourself the opportunity to see how it plays out. I think that timeline is also in line with, ideally, you want to have somebody to replace what Draymond Green brings to the table, because that's another part of this that I do think may not factor in the direct decision-making that the Warriors have made over the last 7 days, but ideally when you move on from somebody great at what they do, you would like to have somebody waiting in the wings that can be great, at least in a different way, and help you collectively as a team remain at a similar level. And the reality is the Warriors don't have that. They may have the person, but that person isn't playing at a level to where he equates. Like, it may be James Wiseman and or Jonathan Kuminga 2 years from now.
Right. He might be in the room, but he's not ready to be that guy today.
Exactly. He may be on the team, but he's not going to play at that level to this point in time. So I think that works in line with your time frame of kind of going year to year with it at this point, with the end game being, okay, 22, 23, 23, 24. The hope would be in 2024, Jonathan Kuminga is so good, or James Wiseman is so good, or hell, maybe both of them are so good, that at that point, the declining Draymond Green is no longer worth all of the headaches that you've had to put up with over the course of his tenure as a Golden State Warrior.
Back to the phones we go, 888-957-9570. Rich in Fremont. Thank you for the call, Rich. What do you got?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I think when it really comes down to it, and I'm not taking anything away from Draymond because what he did was that was ridiculous, okay? First of all, you don't put your hands on anybody unless they do something very, very serious to you. I mean, he punched Jordan Poole like he found out Jordan Poole was sleeping with his wife or something.
Exactly. Right.
That was man, I couldn't, I was like, wow, okay. But I still think in order for the Warriors to be able to move forward, I believe, he doesn't have to do this because Jordan Poole doesn't have to do anything. I'm saying if he wants his career progression to move about, come out publicly and simply relate your feelings or how you feel regarding the situation. That will allow the Warriors to be able to move forward. And this is also a chance for him to be the bigger man and to gain some character. And I'm not saying that he needs any more, but I'm just saying this would be the reward of doing that. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Look, it's real simple. What was the saying? When they go low, we go high.
Mm-hmm.
If Draymond Green has officially taken the low road in this, how does Jordan Poole have implicit superiority over the situation? By just going high road over all of it. Again, whether he believes it or not. Throwing an arm around Draymond Green, how about this? It doesn't even need to be a false photo op. Draymond's got the ball in the low post, kicks it out to Jordan. Jordan hits that corner three, and as they jog up the court, high five. Whew! That first time that happens, a genuine, you're my guy, I'm still playing with you, and we're cool. The first on-court interaction of that happening will be such a welcome sight. It'll be such a welcome sight.
It also doesn't mean everything's fixed, though.
No, it doesn't. But here's the deal. Pretend.
Sure.
For the sake of the team, for the sake of the locker room, for the sake of the season, for the sake of the title defense, you frickin' pretend. Again, the definition of professionalism is sucking it up and doing it on the day you don't want to get out of bed. That's what being a pro is. A pro is F my own feelings. I got a job to do. What's best for this job, a unique job in a team sport, is to make this team keep humming no matter what. Draymond's bad day, he said he had a bad day, completely crept into his demeanor, and we saw it. A real pro wouldn't have let that bad day creep into his demeanor. Demerit Draymond Green.
No doubt.
And by the way, welcome to your 4 o'clock hour.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on Twitch, YouTube, and the free Odyssey app. Damn well better be free.
There's Pookie.
Hi, Ray.
Hi, Ray.
Hi, good to hear from you.
This is Rom, calling from Sunnyvale. What's going on, Rom?
I just want to weigh in and say that the Warriors have been enabling this behavior of Draymond for years now. So whether with the Kevin Durant incident, even though he was suspended, he goes right back after a few months with KD on his podcast and says Bob Myers and Steve Kerr F it up. He takes tough love a little too much with the new players, and Steph doesn't say anything because Steph knows how important Draymond is not only for the team but for his own legacy. The screens he says, the passes, the way he runs the offense. So the Warriors know that Draymond is important to winning, and they've been looking the other way all these years, and the Warriors are basically prioritizing winning over doing the right thing, and I don't think we can blame them for that. So,
and I don't think you're wrong, Rom, I don't think you're wrong to say that the Warriors have enabled this. Through every single turn in Draymond's road, it feels like they have done as much to steer him back on track, at times more than even he's done to steer himself back on track. Enabling is exactly, I think, what has happened. But in their enabling of Draymond Green, 4 championships were won. And you can say that, well, one of the greatest letdowns Draymond ever had with the Golden State Warriors directly resulted in Kevin Durant's appearance.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know if you're beyond this group won a couple of titles had they not lost to Cleveland. Because that was, again, you can't remove facts from the timeline. There is no way, had they won back-to-back championships there after the 73-win regular season, they win that title, Kevin Durant doesn't show up. And look, they also just indeed proved that they can win a championship without Kevin Durant.
Right, but maybe that team couldn't have.
Maybe them running up against Cleveland again and then again.
And who was Durant going to be playing for if he wasn't playing for you?
Right.
Which is the other part of it.
What if he had just stayed in Oklahoma City?
Maybe they get over the hump.
They had you up against a wall, just the year before. So it's the role that Draymond has played on this team is just fascinating. The best of him has clearly served the Warriors well, and in a really odd way, the worst of him has also served the Warriors well. I think this was the very first time they identified, there is no real positive outcome to this Draymond incident.
No.
And that's why, they got right around it. And I don't even know if getting right around it was the right thing to do, because I think that they tried to dismiss this as it's a basketball thing. It was not a basketball thing. It happened in a basketball setting, but it's not, it's like Jerry Maguire is a sports setting, but it's a romantic comedy.
Right. It's not a sports movie.
Exactly. Die Hard, even though it's set on Christmas, is not a Christmas movie.
Oh, there you go, opening a box.
It's just an action movie that takes place on Christmas.
Look at you opening a can. Is a hot dog a sandwich, Damon?
No! Kind of. It's weird.
Depends on what kind of bread it's on.
I mean, so to me, the sandwich.
I don't even believe that. I
just like saying.
Just stirring it up now.
Is a cheesesteak a sandwich? How much different is a cheesesteak than a hot dog when you really think about it?
Cheesesteak I think is a sandwich.
Right, but you don't have total bun separation. It's like there's a
I know.
V there.
No, I got you.
We're not going to go down this road.
No.
Would you rather fight 100 horse-sized ducks or one duck-sized horse? Oh, no. Maybe it's the other way around. Anyway, we'll do the Reddit hour a little bit later on.
I keep coming back to... I'll try and steer it back. I go back to the 2016 incident with Draymond and Steve Kerr in Oklahoma City, where they're screaming at each other and everybody thinks it's going to get physical to the point where the cops are standing by, and Lisa Salters of ABC and ESPN is hearing all of it and reports on it. When nothing happened following that, and I think the reason it didn't was because they just won a title, and I say this all the time, they were something like 50-5 when that game took place on that night when Curry hit the...
Right.
Curry,
the signature shot of his career until Game 4 in Boston.
Exactly. And so they win that night, which I think kicks it down the road. And then they win 73 games. But when they didn't address that, to me, and I know you can say, well, JD, there have been some things that are worse, and this is one of them. But when you let that go early in somebody's career, there's no going back in my mind. And so they then wrote it out because they were winning at the level they were winning, and the good outweighed the bad so immensely. And then what happens? It winds up biting them potentially with him getting suspended in the finals. But you made the point, and it's right on the money. They end up getting Kevin Durant 2 weeks later. So they never really had to address they never had to address the fact that he cost them one.
Right. There was always...
Because we're going to win 2 or 3 more immediately.
There was a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow and also at the end of the dead-end street.
Right. So it's like, well, are we really going to discipline or take a harder look at him now? He just brought us another 2 championships in a way. Maybe he took one away, but he brought 2 more. And then you fast forward down to Durant and all that stuff. And anyway, I digress on that point. But there was always a reason to just kick the can. You know what? We're not going to deal with it. But when you didn't deal with that first major incident, I think you put any level of legitimate punishment, you completely made it toothless from that moment forward.
By the way, Die Hard is for sure a Christmas movie, one of the highest grossing Christmas movies of all time. That is false information. Die Hard was not released in December.
Oh.
It was not released in the Christmas season. Die Hard was a July release.
Okay, I was saying that was summer.
It was a summer release. So don't tell me Die Hard's one of the highest grossing Christmas movies of all time. Like, you literally can't make up your own facts. And I have definitively answered the question. It is not a Christmas movie. It was released in July. Thank you very much. Believe me, Die Hard came out when I was in high school. I can recite every line before the movie even gets to it. I don't think there's a movie I've seen more than Die Hard. Don't start with me. The Maniac in Richmond. Hello, Maniac.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, so I've been listening for a week, and no one has a suggestion basically about how to get these 2 men over the situation, and it's easy. Jordan Poole gets to slap the Christ at Draymond Green.
Now, hey, look, I'm sorry you waited on hold for so long to come up with something ridiculous. Put him in the yard and let him fight it out? No, that's... what? Okay, so let's say Jordan Poole breaks his wrist or his finger on that punch and now can't shoot for the Warriors for the next 2 months. Was that good? Just stop it. Just stop it. This is Rob in San Jose. How are you, Rob?
Oh, I'm doing well. Kind of along the lines of accountability, I want to know who on the Warriors or within that organization is kind of the Charlie Murphy to Draymond being Rick James, the habitual line stepper. It doesn't seem like they don't have anyone in that organization that kind of is that person that puts him in his place when he steps over that line, good, bad, or indifferent for what he's brought you or what he hasn't. And I think for the first time in my life on any sports team, I have someone on my team that I just don't like and I'm sick of. Before it was, like, oh, he's our jerk, and I wouldn't like him if he was on a different team. Now he's just a jerk, and I just don't like him.
To answer your first question, Steph Curry is the Charlie Murphy of the Golden State Warriors. This is Steph Curry's team. It's always been Steph Curry's team. Draymond has always had a larger vocal on-court leadership because Steph is just, kind of quiet and goes about his business. But Steph is the leader on this team, and that's why Steph was sitting down with Jordan Poole and sitting down with Draymond Green and doing the things that, God bless him, Klay Thompson is so checked out on this, he probably doesn't even care. He's like, just tell me when it's over. And that's what's beautiful about Klay Thompson. This is only made possible because one of the single greatest egoless entities in the history of the highest level of sports we have ever known exists in the Warriors locker room. I don't know many other great NBA teams that could have handled this. Let me tell you, everyone goes on and on and on and on about what a great leader Kobe was. That Lakers team would have folded like a tent under all of this. Kobe, he ran the best teammate he ever had out of town the minute he turned on him. Shaq has got to go. Shaq saying Kobe's got to go. Like the fact that nobody could bring those two together is a shame on that moment. It altered NBA history because of internal fighting. Again, success cripples NBA teams as much as arguments over women and money and guns and all that stuff. It's amazing how fragile locker rooms really are.
Without a doubt. And I think I can just go through all the teams that the Warriors have battled throughout the years, just very quickly in my mind, whether it's Houston when they had the Harden group, and then or OKC with Westbrook and Durant. Any of these teams that the Clippers with the Lob City experience, any of those teams, to me, it's done the moment something like this happens. It would have completely ended their title chances. I'm not so sure. Well, and that's not a guarantee that the Warriors are going to be fine by any stretch, but I feel like the Warriors have the secret sauce that gives them a chance to overcome this, at least for this season.
More calls, and we're going to play Name That Incident coming up next here on 95.7 The Game.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you may be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to GetRefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to GetRefunds.com. That's GetRefunds.com.
If you owe back taxes to the IRS, have unfiled returns, or are worried about an audit, the IRS is hiring 87,000 new agents to address these very issues. That means if you need to get your tax problems resolved, now is the time to get started. I'm tax attorney Robert Goldstein, and my firm specializes in helping individuals and small businesses resolve their tax problems. We work to stop IRS and state seizures. We may be able to settle your tax debt for pennies on the dollar with an offer in compromise. We prepare your past due returns, even if you have no records, and represent you before the IRS and state in an audit. At the law offices of Robert Goldstein, the consultation is always free, and we have offices located throughout the Bay Area. To schedule your free consultation, call 1-888-TAX-EXIT. That's 888-TAXEXIT. 888-TAX-EXIT, and make us your last stop.
Do you think all premium fuels are the same? Well, your engine doesn't. Shell
Shell V-Power Nitro Plus helps keep your engine running like new, because it's engineered to defend against 4 main engine threats: gunk, wear, corrosion, and friction. So next time, choose Shell's most advanced fuel ever. It's fuel for thought. In engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline.
Goody Nation is a nonprofit that connects small, diverse companies to big money. At one point, we had to send millions of dollars to 76 companies overnight, tracking every penny all on paper. I know, right? We don't do that anymore. Now we've got Bill. It knows where the money's going. Once we automated that process, we got more time back with our community. Bill is accurate, and that gives us confidence.
Automate your finances with Bill. Learn more at Bill.com.
Golfers, now at the Golf Mart, it's time to hit faster, longer, and straighter with Titleist. The new TSR drivers are designed to maximize distance and elevate your performance. Titleist TSR driver, pushing for perfection every day. Come into the Golf Mart for the new Titleist TSR drivers and get custom fit for free today. Can't make it in store? Visit us online at worldwidegolfshops.com. The Golf Mart, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee and family owned and operated since 1984.
Wendy's new French toast sticks are so delicious, some are saying that they're better than their mom's breakfast.
Excuse me, did you just say Wendy's new French toast sticks are better than my breakfast?
Mom, is that you?
Answer the question.
I said some people are saying that because they're so crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside and perfect in every way.
Uh-huh. And what do you think?
I think it's time to tell people to choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new sweet and crispy home-style French toast sticks.
That's still not an answer.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. You'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Danville partly cloudy tonight with a low of 54.
Weather brought to you by one thing. Improve your gas mileage by properly inflating tires and taking your car in for a tune-up. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow.
95.7 The Game has your tickets to see The Who, October 24th at the SAP Center. For your shot to win, head to our contest page at 957thegame.com.
Now back to Damon and Ratto, brought to you by BMW Fairfield on 95.7 The Game.
It is Damon and Ratto here on 95.7 The Game. Our man John Dickinson filling in for Ray today. Everything we do, every conversation we have, either with you, with Festus Ezeli, Peter King yesterday. How about this? Coming up at 5 o'clock, Jeff Wilson Jr. from the 49ers backfield from the Greenbrier in West Virginia is going to be joining us to talk a little 49ers. We're going to get a little something other than the Golden State Warriors in today. And one of the things that I do want to get in on the Warriors was how well they played last night. It might have been the JV team, but they were going up against Portland's JV team. So I'm going to say kind of a fair fight. And in a fair fight, the Warriors won it decisively. I mean, they dominated Portland and Portland's bench. And I got to tell you, we've been talking an awful lot about Draymond Green. Let me tell you about Jermichael Green. Hello. I like what I see out of you, Moses Moody, Dante DiVincenzo. I'm telling you, you can cut down on those turnovers just a little, but if you're going to be an assist machine like that, okay. Now, I didn't know you had it in you, young man. And we've said so much about James Wiseman. We're not going to try to go overboard with early returns and early dreams of grandeur here, but
look good.
Everything we kind of hoped he might be, he is starting to suggest he might be that.
And just doing it in terms of basic things that are repeatable.
Right.
When you're playing important minutes, when you're playing 15 minutes in a game that you want to win in the regular season. So that to me, he just looks very comfortable.
I thought he was a classic example of the John Wooden saying, play quick, but don't hurry.
No doubt.
He was so hurried.
Just his little finishes around the basket now on very basic plays are much more on point than they were.
It's more methodical. It's more patient.
Balance.
Yeah. So, very, very interesting developments for the Warriors bench. Damon, nobody cares about the preseason. I get it. Well, you know, it's one of those, it doesn't matter whether you're winning or losing. How are you playing? The Warriors have played well this preseason.
They have, and they look deep. You mentioned it right off the top of the show. They look deep. And DiVincenzo's a legit combo guard that can run point. Like, the beauty of the Dante DiVincenzo signing for me was the fact that it didn't get in any. He can play, but he doesn't get in anybody's way. You can play him with Poole. You could play him with Steph. You could play him with Clay. He's not going to prevent Moses Moody from getting on the floor. Like, he is just a straight up addition.
Yeah. It's that's a good way to say it. I mean, it's positionless basketball. And what is he? So, I mean, he's not a low post banger.
No.
But he might be everything else, including a rebound.
But he can play with all of your guards and run your offense and defend. He's young.
Defensive squabbles, no doubt, man. Any single one of those guys, DiVincenzo, Green, Moody, Kuminga, Wiseman, any single one of those guys on another team, if they're not starting, that's a 6th or 7th men. Here, we're talking about 8, 9, 10, 11. I mean, that the Warriors have an 8, 9, 10, 11 that would make most teams 5, 6, 7, 8 blush.
Sure, for sure. And maybe it's in some ways a little too youthful once you get to maybe spot 8 in that. I'm looking at it just, you got Steph, you got Clay, you got Wiggins, you got Draymond and Looney. That's your starting 5. You got Poole off the bench. He's number 6. And then I think I would go DiVincenzo 7, JaMychal Green probably 8. Like, I think all of those 8 are playing every night. I think Wiseman's probably playing every night.
He's your first big man sub.
So you're talking 9 right there, and we haven't even mentioned Moses Moody, who I think is playing every night. And now you're at 10. And
How about Patrick Baldwin Jr.?
And we haven't talked about Jonathan Kuminga. So we're at 10.
Yeah.
And we haven't talked about Jonathan Kuminga yet.
Good times.
That tells you something.
Are the Warriors in danger of having too much talent? It's a great problem to have. It really is. How about this? We don't hear from him very often, but when we do, it's big and it's gay. Big Gay John in Berkeley. Thank you very much, Big Gay John. How are you, old friend?
Well, I heard total bun separation. That's usually my cue to call in. Before thank you for defending. I'm babbling. I guess what I want to say is, as a hardcore Celtics fan, I appreciate what Draymond Green has brought. He reminds me of the Dennis Rodman era, a very talented, very troubled player who couldn't control his own feelings. And I think you guys nailed the part. I haven't heard any other sports talk show, radio, TV say is what matters is what happens going forward. And I think if he can't manage his feelings appropriately, the team is going to be done with him. Great player. Wish he could manage his feelings a little better. And again, I'll finish with this. As a hardcore Celtics fan, I was hoping maybe the Warriors were on the decline and my Celtics with Malcolm Brogdon were on the rise. But the kids for the Warriors look really good. And when it comes to preseason, Bill Parcells, a reporter once asked Bill Parcells, do you care if you win in the preseason? And he said, are they keeping score? And the reporter says, yeah. So Bill Parcells said, then I want to win.
Exactly.
So, yeah, let me know your thoughts on Dennis.
Well, I need to know your thoughts on this as a diehard Celtics fan and as Big Gay John. Does it bother you that flaming heterosexuality is what got Ime Udoka suspended?
I am disappointed that we've lost such a great coach. I don't think we know enough to know that we hear about he slept with an owner's wife.
Oh, no, we know who he slept with. It was the director of finance's wife, and there was probably another one, and there might have been seeds planted. But Big Gay John, great to hear from you. An old school caller right there. Big Gay John. Good to have him.
Nice.
Flaming heterosexuality. Bringing down the Celtics.
That and the Danilo Gallinari knee injury.
Oh, that too. Honestly, I wasn't thinking about Danilo's knee.
And I wasn't sure where I was going with that.
No, but you nailed it. This was Mark Spears on ESPN's NBA Today talking about the relationship that Poole and Draymond and kind of how they went about working this bad boy out.
Poole and Draymond spoke in front of the team a couple days ago, and Poole didn't think it was necessary that Draymond get a suspension. It was put in front of the players whether they thought that Draymond deserved a suspension. And what I was told is that the players weren't comfortable levying that on one of their own teammates. So they wanted management to make that decision. And with that in mind, with what Poole and the teammates thought, ownership and the front office decided that Green would not be suspended, that there would be an undisclosed fine. But while Green hasn't been suspended, he's been away from the team for over a week now. So in a sense, you could maybe even look at that as a suspension being away. But one key thing I think to point out is Poole's professionalism. He's worried about moving forward, worried about getting that bag perk, right? He's about to get that. And so I don't know that these two guys are going to be in San Francisco at a restaurant enjoying clam chowder and some of Napa's best cab anytime soon. But they're definitely going to be professional in trying to win another championship.
And that's it. Thank you very much. Mark Spears on ESPN. They don't need to go out to dinner together. They don't need to be best friends. They don't need to hang when the night is over. They need to be good teammates, and they need to be respectful, one specifically of the other's space and rising place on this team. So what this Warriors team looks like going forward, let me tell you right now, the number one thing that will put this issue to bed, winning.
That's it.
Winning, the ultimate deodorant, makes all the stink go away. This is Sophomore calling from Pacifica. Sophomore, what's up?
Hey, guys. Hey, good show. I think, though, the Warriors blew this. This is workplace violence, right? And I don't want to...
But it's not like workplace like you and I have a workplace. I mean, that's the thing. And I don't want the NBA to become an HR meeting that we have to sit through. I really don't. And I don't think you want that either. So keep on going, Sophomore. But remember, this ain't workplace violence like workplace like you work at a Safeway.
I agree. But they should have assumed the video might get out once they saw it. That happens all the time these days. So they should have been in front of that and gamed that out. They should have suspended Draymond. Asking the players if they should suspend him, that's a joke. I mean, that just makes you look weak as a team. They should have put him in counseling because he's like primed for other problems going forward, hurting his value to himself and the team. And they could have required that. And he wouldn't have sulked over a suspension. He would have known he deserved that. And finally, how this all works out, I think JP leaves after this season, and the reason is just why should somebody as talented as him be on the bench? You know, he needs to be with the Warriors, but any place else, he's their Steph Curry, and I think he's going to leave and go do that.
The point about Jordan Poole is significant, and you might be right. I also, if I were him, would look at someone who no less than Kevin Durant's ilk, who left this team and put himself in a terrible situation to keep on winning. And if I'm Jordan, maybe he really likes the team. Maybe he really likes the Bay Area. Maybe he really likes Chase Center. Maybe he really likes playing with 2 Hall of Famers in the backcourt. Maybe, who knows where Jordan Poole's true priorities lie if he can get all the money that he could possibly want here and remain in what we all thought, at least a very week ago, was sports' most competent, best culture and situation. The other point that you made there, sophomore, that I want to come back to is when you said how this just looks like, the player said no suspension, that's weakness. I could understand why you would think that way, but I also suggest it be a sign of strength. That very few teams have the kind of locker room that has been together as long as these guys have been together, certainly the core, that have a collective voice that matters to management and the coaching staff and vice versa. That's where the positivity of the Warriors, I think, does come from. And the fact that this isn't a fire and brimstone my way or no, all input does not matter, but the GMs, but the coach, but the players. It's a collective. And for players to feel that they've been empowered to buy in, I think that that's a good thing. And if the Warriors are comfortable with putting it in their rearview mirror, who are we to insist it should be the medallion on the hood?
They believe that their room is secure enough to handle this particular situation. And so, you know what? With all the winning that they've done and with all of the tricky situations that they've been able to navigate, I do think they've earned the benefit of the doubt in terms of we're going to zig when a lot of people would zag or a lot of people would want us to zag. And by the way, as Steve Kerr said last night, feel free to rip us to shreds. I'm paraphrasing there. And they know it's probably coming and that they maybe even deserve it, but they're welcome to accept it if it is the means to the end of getting onto this season with as clean a slate as there possibly could be. One just quick nugget on the Jordan Poole contract deal, because I've heard this a lot, and I'm sure you've made the point and others have made the point, but I really haven't heard it enough. Jordan Poole is a restricted free agent. So let's say he either signs his contract extension, which 4 years and $130 million, or what, somewhere in between 100 and 130 million, right? He signs it, and he's under contract with the Warriors for 5 years at that point, because the extension doesn't kick in until next year. Season.
Right.
So let's say Jordan. So in that scenario, he's under contract for 5 years. The other scenario is he decides, you know what, I'm not going to take a contract extension now. I'm going to play out this season and be a restricted free agent next year. Go get an offer sheet for close to or the amount that you could get right now. We'll just match it if you're the Warriors.
Well, now the only thing you'd have to fear there is the poison pill. Like, so the Orlando Magic put $230 million
and some of that's limited now in terms of the structure. Like, it has to go up and down, I think, by a certain percentage in certain years, and I don't want to get too wonky on that.
No, get dorky on that. Get dorky on that for me, JD.
And send everybody back to. Is a hot dog a sandwich, or is Die Hard a Christmas movie? But no.
Maybe and no.
But I've heard a lot of this. Well, if Jordan doesn't want to be here, he can't leave.
Right.
Like, and maybe there does come a point in a year or 2 or 3, assuming Poole is signed for those years by the Warriors, where they do right by him. In essence, let him go be a number 1 somewhere in a trade that is beneficial for them.
2-3 years from now, he might be a number 1 right here.
Possible. Also very much on the table. Not going to discount that. But what I'm getting at is, for now, the Warriors control this. Like, he ain't going anywhere as long as they pay him. Unless they want him to.
Right. If they want, so DeAndre Ayton, restricted free agent.
Exactly. Everybody thought he was gone.
Right. Who gave him the offer? Who put that offer in front of him? It was the Pacers put the big offer in front of him, and the Suns were like, hey, we know you want to get out of town on the next thing smoking, but guess what? We're matching. You're staying. And DeAndre Ayton seems not happy at all to still be in Phoenix, but he's still in Phoenix.
Yet here we are.
And the one team they can't trade him to is the Pacers.
Exactly.
888-957-9570. What I would love is for someone to give us a call who wants to play Name That Incident. We officially have no prizes for you. We have absolutely no reward whatsoever. But if you think you can name the Draymond Green apology and pinpoint what it is coming from, give us a call. We're looking for Draymonologists. Draymond apologists? Is that terrible?
No.
Because Ray would have booed me for saying that out loud.
Well,
you want to boo me a little, let's be honest.
Boo.
We have Trey Lance signs if anybody wants those.
Draymond, we
Trey
got
area signs.
Should we just give away Trey area signs? Do you really want to be responsible for mailing those out? Or do you want to go back to no prizes?
You got to come pick them up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you're not allowed in the building.
And you can meet Steiny on the street. He'll
Next
give 'em to
Niner
you.
home game. Next Niner home game, meet us at the Hilton.
You can meet Steiny out on Battery.
You can meet him at 665 Battery, which, by the way, is not the address of this building.
But he'll be there, and he's got a bunch of Trey area swag.
And some brass knuckles for anyone who wants some of these tough marbles. Which Peter King used the phrase tough marbles with us the other night. That was I didn't even know that phrase existed anymore, I got to be honest with you. Onions! Bill Raftery, baby. This is Ben calling from Byron. Ben, what do you got?
Hey, well, my thing is, so Draymond has that unstoppable attribute where they win a game where it doesn't even seem like, you're looking at the sheet, doesn't even seem like he has anything, but he had a great game. So it's a kind of a control thing. So the longer he's on that team, the more control he's going to have. So is this a time, like you were saying, like a good time to kind of cut the tie?
I actually think that Draymond represents more to the Warriors than he would another organization, and he's got a 2-year window that after the 2-year window, I don't know if I'm going to want to be in business, but over the next 2, he keeps playing defense and stays healthy. I think I do want to be in business with him. There is a diminishing return coming on Draymond Green, and I think we can all see that coming. That made the conundrum of what the Warriors do next like a conundrum. I mean, that's what made it a problem. I think he has now created an off-ramp that the Warriors did not have and that they will be pretty interested in taking a couple of years from now if he does exercise that player option.
I think it's possible. I think this year it's going to, like, the one thing you want for sure, I'm not sure I want him for 2. You may have to have him for 2, but the one thing that I think you cannot deny is you got to have him for this year and defend the title and see how everything shakes out. And you've got the out if you need it.
You know, it's one of the worst things we do as a sports talk radio society is try to discuss sports in terms of a 3-year window. Nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed.
3 years is a long time.
3 years is like 3 sports years is like a decade.
Well, yeah, and I play this game. Just play this game with the Warriors, right? Where were they in 2019?
In the bad place.
Like right now, like they were. Klay Thompson's hurt. Steph Curry's about to get hurt in 2 weeks, and they're about to win 15 games. Like that's where they were in 2019. Fast forward 3 years from there. Here we are right now. They won another NBA championship, and they're loaded with young talent that may be a second core. Do it the other way. Go to how down it was in 2019 to 2016 when they had just won 73 games, didn't win the title, but got Kevin freaking Durant. 3 years is an eternity. I mean, look at those wild swings. And if you want to go back 3 years before that, they hadn't even made the playoffs yet at that point.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's incredible. But yeah, just go. My mind is a little weird in that way where I kind of think of things and like, my God, that was 3 years ago. Like it was It was a completely different world.
And then you had the pandemic mixed into those 3 years, which made those 3 years feel like 5 years anyways.
No doubt.
Or only 1 year. Like, I don't know. The pandemic either felt like it took 3 years and compressed it into 1, or took 3 years and pulled it out to 6. It's really weird.
I think the first 6 months of the pandemic was about 5 years. I think
sliding scale after
that. Since then, in a weird way, I almost feel like time started going faster. But I digress.
Marianne in Vallejo. Hello, Marianne. Thank you for the call. What do you got?
Hey, I'm just going to give my opinion on Draymond. I love Draymond. Maybe he has an attitude. Yes, he does have an attitude. But he gave us championship. He gave his heart out there. Number one, Draymond exposes you when you're doing something wrong. He exposed Durant. Durant did not play well on the 3rd year. Number 2, he's exposing Poole. Poole, on the other hand, yeah, he's a good player. He may end up probably almost like Steph Curry. But if he is still playing alone, he doesn't pass ball. He always does the coast-to-coast thing. He has to be in a team. He has to understand Warriors is a team. He cannot play alone. And Draymond is exposing him. Number 3, Draymond, on the other hand, also is asking for a max contract. They're not giving it to him. So he's coming from a lot of things. And I specifically, I would feel the same way.
Well, Marianne, first of all, no one in the NBA is giving Draymond Green a max contract. No one, including the Warriors. In terms of exposing Jordan Poole, that's definitely not his job. And I would say that Jordan Poole has revealed himself to be a fantastic compliment to the Golden State Warriors. He's not holding them back. He's not playing outside of their style. And I don't agree with that. As to your first point, I got so focused on the other 2 points you made that I forgot what your first point was, and I want to leave you as a 330 hitter. So I'm going to assume that maybe that was the good point. But how about this? When we do return, are you a Draymond Green apologist-ologist? Do you think you can pinpoint that apology? There are plenty of them.
Pretty good.
If you think you can name that incident, we'd love to hear from you. We're going to ask you to name that incident before we get to Jeff Wilson Jr., who will join us at 5 o'clock. And what we have for you here, my good friends, is nothing short of the longest segment of the entire day. It is next. It is commercial free. You will love it. You will absolutely go down memory lane with some of these Draymond Green apologies as well. So don't you go anywhere. It's Damon and Ratto. It's so good to have John Dickinson in today. Can we play the John Dickinson reporter song at one point this afternoon too?
You're asking my permission?
Yeah, because I ever hear that you didn't like it?
Yeah, well, we can explain that later.
It got overplayed.
But you can play it. It got a little overplayed. But yes, you have my permission, and I appreciate you asking.
It will happen. It will happen. See, good teammate. Don't hit me. Don't hit me, John. John, stop hitting me. Here on 95.7 The Game. Brought to you by Fremont Bank. Full service banking. No compromises. Don't hit me, John.
Hey, Becky. What about this beat for your next song?
It's cool, but I'm into faster stuff lately. Like Xfinity that gives me beyond gig speeds.
Got it. What about this then?
It sounds powerful, just like Xfinity. Because its supersonic Wi-Fi has 3 times the bandwidth, you can connect hundreds of devices at once.
That's what I call power.
Unbeatable internet from Xfinity. Made to do anything so you can do anything.
Get the Xfinity Supersonic Bundle with unlimited gig speed internet, Wi-Fi equipment included, and a free 4K streaming box. All for $50 a month with a 2-year internet rate guarantee and no annual contract when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data at regular rates. Go to Xfinity.com/gig, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay. New Gigabit Extra internet customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity internet. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes wireless usage. After 24 months, regular rates apply. Requires compatible Xfinity gateway.
This is your time to cash in at Cash Creek Casino Resort. To rock and to roll. Over the hills and bluffs. Go all out or go all in. With 4 stars and rising stars. Now we do more than ever, so you can do as much or as little as you want. It's your time to cash in at Cash Creek Casino Resort.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Did you know that feeling sluggish or weighed down could be signs that your digestive system isn't working at its best? But taking Metamucil every day can help. Metamucil supports your daily digestive health using a special plant-based fiber called psyllium. Psyllium works by forming a gel in your digestive system to trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Metamucil's gelling action also helps to promote heart health and slows down sugar absorption to promote healthy blood sugar levels. Start feeling lighter and more energetic by taking Metamucil every day.
At BMW of Fairfield, our guests work with one client advisor through the entire transaction. No handoffs to multiple car salesmen. No waiting for a finance manager to take you to a back room. Client advisors at BMW of Fairfield are thoroughly trained in every aspect of the process, so they can lead you efficiently and effectively through the purchase from start to finish. There is a better way. Experience it for yourself at BMW of Fairfield. One price, one person, 1 hour.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you might be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com/sports, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com/sports. That's getrefunds.com/sports.
Gorgeous gaming, stunning streams, unbelievable bandwidth. It's another Lifestyles of Gagillionaires. Meet the AT&T Fiber customers winning at life with hyper gig speeds. Meet Gagillionaire Terry. While his love of streaming horror movies has him constantly on the edge of his seat, his internet bill won't give him a scare.
Oh, don't go in there. I'm telling you.
Because since Terry upgraded to AT&T Fiber with hyper gig speeds, he doesn't worry about data caps or equipment fees.
Come on, man. The door's open for a reason.
And best yet, he also doesn't stress about a price increase at 12 months, because with the amazing Gagillionaire lifestyle comes an exquisite sense of tranquility. Most of the time. Live like a Gagillionaire. Get straightforward pricing with AT&T Fiber. Internet that upgrades everything. No data caps, no equipment fees, and no price increase at 12 months.
Limited availability in select areas. Visit att.com/hypergig for details.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you 24/7, with supplies and solutions for every industry, and access to product specialists ready to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. A bottle of Gum Out Fuel Injector Cleaner can clean your entire system and help your engine get more MPGs. Right now, you can get 2 bottles for only $7. A great deal to help you go a good deal farther. Find Gum Out Fuel Injector Cleaner and everything you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,200 stores.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Now back to Damon and Ratto, brought to you by BMW Fairfield on 95.7 The Game.
Everything this show might do, everything that Steiny and Guru might do, everything that Willard and Dibbs do, and everything that the Morning Roast has done can be found on the Odyssey app. Download it today. It's absolutely free to you. Download the app today, and I'll stop asking you to do it. We're just asking for 100% compliance. Is that so much? It is Damon and Ratto. Ratto cannot be found this week. We're so lucky to have John Dickinson in. And JD, you were here for, absolutely every single one of these. You were probably in the building for some of them that happened on the road as well. So is everyone ready to play Name That incident. All right, our first contestant is Adam in San Francisco. Adam, thank you very much. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, no prizes, only glory available to you. Here we go. Name this incident.
I won't put myself in that position again, and that's all I can really do, so I think in life you learn from things and you use those things down the line, and just don't let it happen again. So I take the good with the bad. I'm not the guy who rise high when things are going well and say, oh man, this is great, I'm this, I'm that, da. Like I said, I put myself in that position. So I take the good with the bad. I learn from the good, I learn from the bad. And overall, it makes me a better person. I'm not afraid to take the blame. I do think that's where the series turned, but it happened, move on from it. Like I said, I learned from it and I'll be better. But I'm not afraid to say that it's my fault. I think it was.
Adam, can you name that incident?
That is the NBA Finals 2016.
Correct. Would you like to keep playing? Would you like to keep playing?
I want more glory.
All right, let's cloak you in more glory as you play today. Name that incident.
Yeah. By the way, I didn't know which one that one was until he said the series turned.
He nailed it. Yeah, exactly.
It was like I was stymied.
There are some clues still embedded. There are other clues that have been removed. All right, Adam, you're 1-0. Here we go with our second incident. Let's see if you can spot it.
I apologize to my teammates and my coaching staff, this organization. That wasn't the right way to handle what needed to be handled. And as a leader of this team, I can't do that because it sets a bad precedence for how everything is ran around here, how everything should be ran, how everything has been ran, and how everything will be ran going forward. It won't happen again. It's something where my emotions kind of got ahead of me, and I let my emotions get the best of me. As a human being, I made a mistake. And like I said before, I apologize to my teammates, to everybody who I needed to apologize to. It won't happen again.
All right, Adam, you're 1-0. Can you tell us when that apology came from?
That apology came from when he punched the college kid.
No. So sorry, Adam. But indeed, glory is yours tonight. Congratulations to you and the entire Adam and San Francisco family. Go home, be proud, pound your chest. You got one of them right. Let's see if Danny in Santa Rosa can name that incident. Danny, Santa Rosa, would you like to hear that one again?
Yeah, let's hear it one more time.
All right, here we go. One more time.
I apologize to my teammates and my coaching staff, this organization. That wasn't the right way to handle what needed to be handled. And as a leader of this team, I can't do that because it sets a bad precedence for how everything is ran around here, how everything should be ran, how everything has been ran, and how everything will be ran going forward. It won't happen again. It's something where my emotions kind of got ahead of me, and I let my emotions get the best of me. As a human being, I made a mistake. And like I said before, I apologize to my teammates, to everybody who I needed to apologize to. It won't happen again.
All right, Danny, can you name that incident?
Was that the Clippers incident with Kevin Durant?
No.
Wow.
Close, though. Thank you. No. Appreciate it. Some people hung up. 888-957-9570. Anyone who wants to cover themselves in glory, playing today's version of Name That Incident. Oh, my God.
So good.
Yeah. Someone says, I'd love to hear the JD Reporter song. Yeah, make sure you have that queued up, Grandy. We're going to need that at some point. Can you give it to me right now? Can you make it give the people what they want?
Sean Dickinson, super reporter, big game bounties, boots on the ground. Sean Dickinson, super reporter, where will he be now? Let's go out to JD.
I don't know what always intoxicated me more about that intro. the randomness of using Genesis's I Can't Dance, or the fact that it's a vocal performance for the ages from a man who will be simply known as Derek.
Yeah.
What didn't you like about it? The frequency?
It was brilliant.
I think I beat it to death probably more than anyone else.
It was brilliant, and I think what it was I think it was when it became kind of an every show thing.
Yes. That's the thing. It was supposed to be in one corner of the world's hemisphere. It went global.
And I never associated you with that specifically.
Right. Oh, wow. I thought I was like the chief abuser
But
of
it just felt like it was overexposure. It was an overexposure, deal.
I'm sorry. I feel like I created the overexposure. I really do.
Once in a while, it's okay.
This is Duke in the city. Duke, how are you, man?
I'm good. King of the sports, Mike, Damon, Bruce, and I see you got your boy Ray Ratto on vacation, and you got the super duper reporter, JD John Dickinson.
There it is.
What's up?
Can you name the incident that we have played a couple of times now?
You know what, D. Bruce? Me being a Dukester and us liking to put it in the air with my brain on right now. I'm gonna go recency bias and say that was that last incident that just happened just now.
No,
sound like the tone of that.
That would have been very, very tricky to play something way out of chronological order, but unfortunately, Duke, it was not the latest incident.
I love y'all anyway.
Thank you. Great to see you. Put it in the air for us wherever you are, Duke. I know you will. Bobby in San Francisco, welcome. It is officially time for you, Bobby, to name that incident. There you go. Bobby, would you like me to replay it one more time for you?
Yes, please.
I apologize to my teammates and my coaching staff, this organization. That wasn't the right way to handle what needed to be handled. And as a leader of this team, I can't do that because it sets a bad precedence for how everything is ran around here, how everything should be ran, how everything has been ran, and how everything will be ran going forward. It won't happen again. It's something where my emotions kind of got ahead of me, and I let my emotions get the best of me. You know, as a human being, I made a mistake. And like I said before, I apologize to my teammates, to everybody who I needed to apologize to. It won't happen again.
All right, Bobby, where do you think that comes from?
I don't recall the exact year, but my guess is that that's after the technical foul in Charlotte.
Oh, so sorry, Bobby. Appreciate it.
It's a tough one.
It is a
Tougher
tough
than
one.
I thought.
It is a tough one. Let's go to Gail in San Francisco. Gail, thank you for choosing to play. Name that incident. There you go. Okay, we're running out of time. We got Jeff Green. Jeff Wilson Jr. coming up at 5 o'clock. So, Gail, can you tell us where you think that might have come from?
Gosh, I didn't hear everybody's answer because I was calling you guys, but I wanted to say it was the Kevin Durant incident after the name calling.
It wasn't. Thank you very much for the call and the attempt. No. But it was not. We'll go to Tim in San Francisco, see if anyone in the city can get that. Tim, do you know where it came from?
Damon, this is a deep cut, but I think it might be the Snapchat incident.
It wasn't the peen check. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. That would have way old school. That would have been really the Snapchat incident. Look at it this way. That was such a scoop of nothing that I didn't even remember that until you brought it up.
And I don't even think there needed to be a formal apology. Like there was not a formal apology for that one, at least a public one.
It certainly didn't need to be a long apology. Thank you. I feel like
I
got to nip this one in the bud. I got to nip this one in the bud right here. That apology from Draymond comes from, well, let me give one more to who is next.
This is one more shot. I want somebody to win, Damon.
Sean in Oakland, even though there's nothing to win, can you name that incident?
Yeah, this has to be the incident when he blamed James Wiseman for errant pass and he blasted the young rook when he shouldn't have.
No, but I even forgot about that.
We're coming up with new incidents that we forgot about.
That, believe it or not, was from Oklahoma City.
Yes.
After the locker room blow up with Steve Kerr. That's what that one is from. We need to move along. and we're kind of running out of time. So let me just give this one to you real quick.
I think there's no secret that I am an emotional player. You know, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I play with that same emotion. You know, sometimes they get the best of me, and, you know, it doesn't work to my favor. I'm going to live with that, you know, because it works in my favor to the good, as my resume speaks and this team resume speaks, more so than it doesn't. And so I'm never going to change who I am. I'm going to approach the game the same way that I always do. And, you know, like I said, we'll continue to move forward.
All right, Frankie, South City, can you tell us when that apology happened?
Is this kicking Steven Adams?
No, it's not even. What's amazing is there have been 4 incidences that we didn't even think were incidences that have been named here. But no, that one, since we're sort of running out of time, that was the post-Durant blow-up.
And post-suspension. Remember, that was the team imposed suspension for one game against Atlanta.
Now, do you remember in November of, no, was it February? Yeah, it was February of 2021. Someone did bring this up as an incident. Here he is after getting ejected in Charlotte after the double tech.
You know, as I had time to let the whole thing marinate and digest, I was dead ass wrong. And so I was a bit disappointed. I'm still a bit disappointed in myself, because I think that whole situation bothered me. I know for sure it did. It bothered me more than being suspended from Game 5 of the NBA Finals in 2016. And the reason it bothered me more than that is because, you know, you can have your thoughts on the Game 5 situation. I for sure have my thoughts on the situation. But this situation in particular, I had complete control over. And I let that control get away from me, and in turn, I let the game get away from myself and my teammates.
When one player's greatest attribute is the emotions that they fuel themselves with, sometimes those emotions can fuel the wrong tank. And Draymond's wrong tank has been full of too many emotions, too many times. There's an awful lot of, you know, it sounds self-reflective in these apologies. And I said this yesterday, the man's got pretty words. His podcast is very successful because he's a supreme talker, and it takes one to know one. That guy's a supreme talker. When will those words land and they stick and they matter, and he really goes about changing his behavior? I guess we're about to find out. So, having said all of that, we, I'm sure, will get back to a couple of other things here that are Warriors related, but not necessarily Draymond all the way related. But I'm very happy to just take a pause from this right now to get to a player that has really set the 49ers on fire. Jeff Wilson Jr. has been at the center of their success in the last couple of games, and he's nice enough to join us here on 95.7 The Game as we welcome all of you to your 5 o'clock hour.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on Twitch, YouTube, and the free Odyssey app. Damn well better be free.
Damon and Ratto, John Dickinson in for Ray all day long, and we're very happy to welcome in a guy who has been playing some of his best football of his career recently for the 49ers, already in his 5th NFL season. Jeff Wilson Jr. is nice enough to join us from the Greenbrier. He got to practice today. That's good. We go inside the 49ers locker room. It's presented by Harris Ranch Beef. Visit your local Chavez supermarkets for all of your beef and tailgate needs. Jeff, thank you so much for your time today. How are you?
Damon, John, what's going on, man? I'm blessed, man. Just working.
How was practice today? I know you got back at it after a little shoulder, stinger, bruise? I don't even know what it was, but you missed a couple days. You got back today. You feeling good?
Oh, yeah, man. Much better, man. Much better. Feeling like myself.
What is it about the Greenbrier? How does that treat you? I know you guys have done this a couple years now, and during COVID it was probably a little bit different, but you guys have been successful on these Eastern trips. What's it like having 10 days away from everybody and having to put you in position to play a game?
Bonded. That'll probably be the key word I use. I say all the guys, you know, we really take time with each other, and we really have nothing else to do but to bond with each other. So I feel like every time we leave here, our team always make a big leap, man, because everybody is just around each other. You smiling, you talking. I mean, you probably even having conversations that you normally don't have because you got nothing but time.
How are the beds at the Greenbrier? I'm always a stickler about my own pillow. Do you travel with your own pillow? Are the Greenbrier's pillows good?
Most definitely. No, I got to bring my own essentials. You know what I mean? No shade to them, but me personally, I just like to keep everything the same. So I like to bring my own.
There you go. Everyone has their own flavor. I'm totally on step with it. Do you get to order all the room service you want and bill it to the team?
I mean, I wouldn't say this arguable, but you definitely get to order, you know what I mean? You try not to abuse it, you know what I mean? Be thankful for it, but yeah, you definitely get to order some food, though, to the room.
That's great. And so now I know that the Greenbrier sits on what was a huge underground bunker that, like, the government built in the 50s. Have you seen this bunker? Do you know about this bunker?
I've seen the interest, but I haven't, actually been down there, you know what I mean? So, I've seen the interest of it, though, man. It's really crazy, man. It's just so much pops in your head, so much you think about what could have went on or what was going on when, people was here. So it's really kind of cool, though.
Well, hopefully at no point in time, Jeff, you need the bunker. We have Jeff Wilson Jr. here with us on 95.7 The Game. And I'll tell you, man, the running game has not missed a beat since you took over as primary back. Congratulations to you. This has got to be incredibly satisfying. I think two of the best games that you have played are just the last two games that you have played. Do you feel the same way?
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
Yeah, Jeff, I got to ask you, I think Deebo Samuel was talking about some of the guys getting out on an ATV trip. Were you a part of that trip? And if you were, what was it like? And if you weren't, did you hear about it?
No, I heard about it and seen it. I didn't get to go. I was getting treatment and getting my body right. You know what I mean? But I definitely heard about it and seen some videos. It's like those guys had a great time. I wish I was there.
That's good. Team bonding. Absolutely love it. I want to talk about a trip that you took to the end zone a couple of weeks ago. And I know it's all about looking ahead and you don't spend much time looking back. But to me, you ran what I think is the sexiest running play the 49ers have had this season when it was toss power left. All the eye candy, everything was going left, and then you cut it back through the center guard gap for an untouched touchdown. Was that the design? Is that your vision that brought you to that spot in the line? Would you talk us through that play a little bit? It was fantastic.
I mean, obviously, it was a play that we talked about during the week. Well, not during the week, all week. You know what I mean? We knew the look we wanted. We knew the techniques that we was going to run it against. And they happened to give us exactly what we was looking for. And obviously, running the ball obviously can go anywhere, anytime, because the person can get out of their gap or go against the scheme or the stunt that they have. So you always have to read it like a runner. But we already kind of predetermined that and knew where we wanted to hit it and knew where it was going to go. So it was just the fact of keeping everybody flowing, keeping everybody on their track, and waiting for that right moment to cut it upfield.
Jeff Wilson Jr. here with Damon Bruce and John Dickinson. So Kyle Shanahan has a reputation of being a run play design genius. Is it fun to be a running back in his offense? And what makes you a running back that fits his offense so well?
I believe you got to have the mindset here. If you don't have the mindset, you won't be a running back for the 49ers. That's first thing first. And Kyle, he's a guru, man. I feel like just like he gets people in one-on-one in the passing game, he does the same thing for the run game, and that blows my mind. Like, how can you put your running back in one-on-ones or set him up for one-on-ones almost all the time? You know what I mean? And for a running back, who doesn't want to be in that? You know what I mean? Who doesn't want to have to only worry about one man? Or you know what I mean? So that's just it's a blessing to be here. It's a blessing to be coached by him, and a blessing to play for him.
What's the balance, Jeff, like between, some games it seems like you're running the football to set up the pass. It's felt lately in the last 3 games or so as if you guys have been using the pass to set up the run, throwing it early, and then boom, you can break off a big one. What is that like in preparation for a week with Kyle Shanahan scheming it up? And do you feel like you guys have been maybe passing a little bit more because teams know you eventually want to get back to the run in a big-time way?
Oh yeah, most definitely. You know what I mean? If anything, like everything marries for each other. Everything plays off of each other. You can't run the ball without passing, or you can't pass the ball without running. So like all those Kyle's does a tremendous job. Like how he puts it together. Like I wish I could just be inside his brain and figure out how he does it, but he sets it up perfect almost every week. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, people wanted it could have been you probably had a play or two, or you wish you could have changed, but. For the most part of it, everything's always been right on the money, man. So he's just a genius, man, and he's the best at his job.
Again, you're in your 5th NFL season. Does it feel like you've been in the NFL for 5 years, or does it go by so fast you blink your eye and you're already 3 years into your career?
I kind of got it. I'll say both because I don't know. Like now, it be some days where I feel like, all right, I'm definitely not year one. Let me go get in this hot tub and warm up before I go out here to practice. But you know what I mean? But at the same time, though, it's like, you know, it's cool, though, because, like I said, Kyle takes care of you. Like, the organization take care of you. So you don't really have to worry about those things. Like I said, the only thing you really have to worry about is coming in and being your best every day.
How good is it to have Tevin Coleman back in the running back room? What's your relationship like, and do you feel that your running styles complement each other?
Oh yeah, most definitely. You know, Tev, that's my big brother. You know what I mean? Obviously, he was with the team already, and when he came, he took me under his lead and treated me as that, just like I was his little brother. You know what I mean? And I always have love for him. It won't be a time that we won't talk for the rest of our life, and we always be tied in with each other.
Jeff, what has the transition been like in moving from Trey Lance, obviously, who there were high expectations for, and I know all you guys are just gutted for his injury and not being able to play after that first game plus of the season. But what's the transition been like as far as getting everybody on the same page with Jimmy Garoppolo now taking over, and is it easier because you know what Jimmy can do with this football team?
I definitely say it's easier. You know what I mean? Because this is not like a draft pick that you got and hasn't played a game, so you don't really know what you're getting from him, or you know he haven't seen all the looks, so you got to wear if he can make adjustments or call. So it's none of that, man. Like Jimmy is Jimmy. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks in his game right now. You know what I mean? He doesn't get enough respect and he doesn't get enough credit. You know what I mean? Obviously, shout out to Trey. I miss him. He's our guy. Still is our guy. You know what I mean? It was heartbreaking for that to happen for him. But having Jimmy in, like I said, he's already played with us. Everybody already caught balls from him. We know the angles he takes. We know the authority he demands. So it's just it's like, you know what I mean? It's just like riding a bike. You just jump on and go. You know what I mean? Like we've been doing it, so it's like nothing new.
What would you say is the most underrated or underappreciated aspect to Jimmy Garoppolo's game or leadership or whatever it is?
I just wouldn't even say his game or anything. It's just him as a person, man. Like he doesn't even have to step on the field, but he gives everybody that extra hump all the time. You know what I mean? And that's like to see his focus and see how he prepares, man. Like you have to do it yourself. You know what I mean? Like he holds you accountable without even holding you accountable, on top of holding you accountable, because he will do that. You know what I mean? So that's just the type of person Jimmy is. I feel like just him, period. Like he's very underrated, undercredited. It's just, man, I feel like I wish I could just change it all for him, man, because he's really a great dude and a great quarterback.
Jeff Wilson Jr. joining us here on 95.7 The Game, coming to us from the Greenbrier, where again he practiced today. It looked like Ty Davis Price is working himself back into the mix. You know, you talked about how Tevin Coleman took you under his wing when you were a young pup in this league. Have you got a rookie assigned to you? Have you taken on a youngster on this team as the guy you're mentoring?
Oh, yeah. I took in Ty and JP. Like I said, along with Tevin, I had Jared McKinney and Matt Breida, Raheem Mostert. So all those guys showed me the way and showed me the way it's supposed to be done. You know what I mean? And those guys treated me with the utmost respect, with the utmost credit, you know what I mean? And treated me as a man. And even though I was on practice squad, they didn't treat me like I was a practice squad player or none of that. You know what I mean? Those guys just always showed me love. Anything I ever needed, they're coming through. Like, first getting in, Raheem he took me out and we ate breakfast together. And this is when I knew nothing about him or he knew nothing about me. You know what I mean? But that's just the type of players that I was around and that we had. And that's to speak values to them as people. You know what I mean? So with all those showing, it'll be wrong. I don't know other way besides what I was showed. So I give those guys my all.
It sounds like a very tight locker room. I mean, it sounds like you guys legitimately play with each other and for each other.
No, most definitely. Like I said, I can go down today and I can win, Tel can go in, RJP, and things gonna roll the same. And I'm gonna be just as happy for those guys as if I was in there making the runs myself, just as it's the same as they doing for me now. So, man, if you're selfish or you got any kind of bad blood in you, Kyle knows that he brings certain type of people into the organization. If you're not that certain type person, you won't be here. So typically we never have to worry about those things.
Niners running back Jeff Wilson Jr. here on 95.7 The Game. So one of the questions going into this year was the offensive line, specifically the interior of this offensive line. And we say all the time, nothing in the NFL proves that you can play in the NFL until you actually have success in the NFL. Like, no matter what your college career was, no matter what you did anywhere else, this league spits out successful college players all the time. And it takes guys you've never heard of and turns them into stars. The NFL's funny like that. Are you satisfied with the questions that this offensive line, I think, is absolutely answered early here? I think it's better than anyone expected. Do you feel the same way?
Man, they're not done yet, and that's all I got to say, man. We don't listen to outsiders. We don't pay attention to what other people say or even they believe. You know what I mean? If it's not in the house, it doesn't really matter, man. Those guys are the best in the game, and I tell you that they don't get enough credit. It'll come out eventually later on. You can even jot this down or pinpoint this and remember me telling you. Those guys are some of the best guys in the league and on the best line in the league.
Jeff, I want to go back to just how tight-knit the group is and ask you about, is there what's the vibe in terms of just expectation? Is it unfinished business given last year and those of you that were around going back to 2019 and the Super Bowl loss? I mean, is it unfinished business? What, you could feel it coming out of the locker room in LA when you guys lost in the championship game in January, heading into this year. Is that still present for you guys?
Yeah, but I would say it's more so of us not selling ourselves short anymore. You know what I mean? Obviously, you're supposed to have, we definitely feel, whether it's a factor or not, we're supposed to have 2 rings right now. So, I mean, and that's how we look at the things. We know what type of team we have. We know what type of players we got. And, yeah, we had some changes, but overall, I mean, we pretty much still the same. So, ain't none of those guys there and all those guys hungry. And it's just time for it. And we know that, and everybody knows that. So that's what we work for.
When you look at a box score, where do your eyes go first? Do you look at your yards per attempt? Do you look at how many carries you got? Do you look at your total yardage on the day? What do you think is the most important number to produce and get the team into the win column?
The last word you said, the win column. Regardless of what went on in the game, I don't care if I have 100 yards or 10. As long as that 10 helped contribute to us getting that win, that's all that matters at the end of the day. And that's not for me. That's every position that we have that plays on that field, and that's every person that has the last name with the 49ers jersey. So that's just how we go, and that's just pretty much what it is.
Now, Jeff, I don't ask a lot of men about their dark places, but I guess I have to ask you about yours, because your teammates have said that Jeff Wilson Jr. goes into a dark place every game day. What are you listening to when you go into that place? Maybe you're actually sitting in a dark room somewhere, or is it just a mentality? Tell us about your dark place, and don't be shy.
Yeah, no, I grew up in the South, so I listen to a lot of Southern music, a lot of Lil Boosie, Lil Webby, NBA YoungBoy. I go all the way back to Master P, all those guys, just the old school classics, you know what I mean? I don't know why they just get me turned up and put me in my mood. And regardless of all that, the dark place mainly comes from just, the stuff I've been through in my life and where I'm trying to go. I just feel like, you know what I mean? I got a lot of respect that I'm trying to gain from a lot of people, regardless of which it don't matter. And I mean, I'm not honing myself on that, but I just feel like me as a player and being in the league for 5 years, it's just more about, gaining respect for people. I want people to know, when they hear my name, he's not just some other player, that he's an NFL running back that plays in the National Football League.
You are from Texas. You grew up right in the middle of that hotbed between Houston and Dallas, and obviously we know who you are now as an athlete. I mean, you are an incredibly successful NFL player. So how was it that you ended up at North Texas? Because normally, how did that guy get to North Texas? Well, he was 5'6" and no one recruited him. You're not. You're a big guy. You're a big bruising back. How'd you end up at North Texas?
I don't typically want to say because of my school, because I went to a great high school and they did everything. I'm another reason why I'm able to be where I'm at today. But the high school I went to, our graduating class was like 60 people or something like that. You know what I mean? So it was just real small. Like if you drive past my hometown and where I was and go to school, you probably didn't heard people say this, or if you look at it, but if you blink, you'll miss it. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of how it is, and I think that was just more so what it was.
The entire high school gets overlooked.
Man, everything. You know what I mean? Even just the city itself. You know what I mean? If you wasn't here by East Texas, you'll think Palestine, Westwood, Crockett. The last thing you'll probably say is Elkhart. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of how it always been. Well,
shout out Elkhart, Texas. We're here for you. And Jeff, thank you so much for being here with us today. We really appreciate it. We got to ask every man from Texas, I guess, the following question. How much do you like barbecue? How much do you like grilling?
Man, it's the best in the world. And, hey, I'm the champ. If you want to get our grill on, just let me know.
Well, we're going to help you get your grill on. We're going to do that. Our friends at Harris Ranch Beef are going to give you 10 pounds of prime porterhouse steaks. You cook those bad boys medium rare, and you enjoy yourself. Jeff, it's been a pleasure watching you play this year. Congratulations on your personal success, on the team success that you guys are having. Tell us a little bit about Atlanta and what you think of this game against the Falcons coming up.
Like I said, I feel like this year is mainly about us. So, like I said, go in, get in the film room, know what they like to do, and then I can get a lot of looks. So, hone in on all those, and then go out and play our best game. You know what I mean? Obviously, we faced them last year, and they know that. They remember that. So, we know they're going to come out hot and fierce and ready to go. So, we got to match their intensity and then try to take the life out of them and get the win.
Jeff, you are an awesome interview. What a great personality. Thank you so much for joining us today. Good luck with everything.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you. Y'all have a blessing.
Jeff Wilson Jr. We got a hoo-wee. He was so excited about the steaks. I like that.
He was fired up.
He absolutely was.
Man knows his meat.
I tell you, there were some interesting things he said, and he even said, write this down. He thinks he's got the best offensive line in the league. He says, quote, "They not done yet." So we really did identify, there's a weakness for the 49ers. And I think that they've addressed this to the point where Jalen Moore, who everyone said, well, there is going to be the weak spot at left tackle, he played pretty well against Carolina.
He did. He held up. Yeah. There were a few times Brian Burns got in there, but he held up, and it was much better than he did in the limited action that he got when he had to go into the game in Denver. That was rough.
Yeah.
And then McKivitz ended up taking over, and he held up all right at the end of the Rams game, too, when he got pressed into action.
Well, and wasn't the whole thing was he was hurt, so he couldn't really prep for that game, so he came in, he looked a little rusty.
Right.
McKivitz picked up the loose strings, and
yeah.
I have confidence in McKivitz. I have confidence in Jalen Moore. I have confidence in Aaron Banks. I didn't think I was going to be saying that after he hardly dressed for a game last year. That is a unit that is getting better and better and better. Lot of love for Jeff Wilson Jr. on the Comcast or the Xfinity mobile text line. Hey, gotta get the daddy right. And a lot of love coming in from the YouTube chat. Someone obviously pointed out that I have, in my entire life, had a very I just cannot properly pronounce the word pillow. I know it's pillow. I have an E in my. It's a pillow to me. I can't say pillow. I can't do it. But it's good to know that we both are pillow sensitive, pillow curious, if you will. So we have that in common. And he was a great interview. Thank you very much. Otis Bird III signing off on a great interview. He would know. San Jose Jazz fan. I wouldn't mind if my daughter married Jeff Wilson Jr. I mean, there you go.
There you go.
Marrying off your daughter, the interview was so good. You can't argue with that. Another thing that I thought was really funny, or interesting, I guess I should say, JD, is when he was talking about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yes, indeed.
And he talked about Jimmy's attributes. You asked him a great question, and he talked about the authority, and the man just breeds confidence throughout the entire team. He holds guys accountable without even trying to hold guys accountable. They just feel accountable to him. Like that's leadership power. I mean, what is the it behind leadership? I don't know. I guess it comes in a lot of forms, and Jimmy's got it.
And what is the it behind Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, is part of it, too. And I thought Jeff Wilson Jr., he gave one of the better explanations that I've heard as to why the locker room loves him in the manner that the locker room loves him for the numbers that he's put up, the up and down nature of the numbers with a whole lot of winning, which is going to leave a good taste in everybody's mouth. But I think Jeff explained it pretty well, that there's just kind of an aura to Jimmy. There's just an accountability from somebody that on the surface you wouldn't necessarily believe that he would command.
He's a stabilizing presence for this football team. There's just no other way to say it. And what I thought was maybe the single most interesting thing that Jeff Wilson Jr. just told us was, quote, "I wish I could change it all for him," end quote. He wishes he could change it all for Jimmy Garoppolo. You know, that does speak to unfinished business that you brought up. And I think, as much as this team likes Trey and the future that he might represent, I think a lot of these guys feel like Jimmy got a raw deal, and they don't necessarily understand why he got that raw deal. And maybe they got a little personal accountability now to make sure that this year doesn't end short. What did he say? Here, how about this? How many rings do you think you should have right now, Jeff Wilson Jr.?
Yeah, but I would say it's more so of us not selling ourselves short anymore. You know what I mean? Obviously, you're supposed to have, we definitely feel, whether it's a factor or not, we're supposed to have 2 rings right now. So, I mean, and that's how we look at the things. We know what type of team we have. We know what type of players we got. And yeah, we had some changes, but overall, I mean, we pretty much still the same. So, and none of those guys there and all those guys hungry. And it's just time for it. And we know that, and everybody knows that. So that's what we work for.
Should have 2 rings by now. I mean, you could say in one of those games, yeah, you were 10 minutes away. The other time you bowed out before you even got to the big game that gets you the ring. But I hear you. I would never want to rob a 49er of their confidence. And this team thinks it should have already accomplished some big things. And the fact that they haven't means they really want to get it done this year. Can they? In this NFC right now? Sure. I mean, I'm not going to guarantee anything. But they got as much of a chance to be in the NFC title game as any other team in the NFC.
There was a finality, a sadness, an exhaustion in the locker room at SoFi Stadium when they lost the NFC Championship game. I was down there covering that game for the station, and you could feel it, even though at that point we still weren't allowed in the locker room, because it was everybody that stepped out, everybody that was around it, everybody that was just trying to process what had just happened and the missed opportunity, and then on into the podium to speak at the post-game press conferences. And a huge part of that, Damon, was not being able to get Jimmy back there, bringing it back to Jeff Wilson's point about Garoppolo and the unfinished business. It was just, you could just feel the sadness that particular era was over, or at least everybody believed it was over. Now there's another opportunity. No shade against Trey Lance. I think everybody feels gutted, as Jeff Wilson Jr. alluded to, for Trey Lance, but one more shot to maybe try and complete some of that unfinished business, I would imagine, is on a lot of those players' minds.
Motivation, get some, whatever it takes, wherever it comes from. You feel slighted, doesn't matter. You just want it. You just want it now. That's a good thing to have. So I tell you, I totally underestimated who Jeff Wilson Jr. could be for this team. I just thought he was, just a guy, just a guy that they were going to plug into the backfield, and it's a backfield that has gotten decent production out of the just a guy running back. I think he's a level up from a just a guy running back. He has good size, real power, not the heavy-footed runner I labeled him to be.
He looked a little off in the Chicago game, but I think now we can say that was probably just because of the weather.
Because of the weather and because of the reps. You reps in practice, the run with the ones means an awful lot. The run with the ones that he's gotten over the past couple of weeks have produced the best games he's played. So keep it going, Jeff Wilson Jr. And as he told you, Ty Davis-Price is getting better. And, Elijah Mitchell's going to come back into the fold here at one point. And there are so many injuries on this team. It's crazy to think about how they might be positioned right now the worst they're going to be positioned all year. Like they're only going to add talent from here on out if they can stop this cycle of every single freaking week somebody gets hurt. Knock it off. Knock it off. I'm excited about where the Niners are going to take this year, and obviously, it's only reaction to preseason basketball. But, man, the Golden State Warriors, for a team that's had a tumultuous week, went out and played a pretty focused basketball game with their JV team. None of the key players were out there playing, and they dominated a Trailblazer team that didn't really have any of their key players out there playing. So the depth was on full display, and I got to tell you, I'm impressed by Dante DiVincenzo, JaMychal Green, Moses Moody, Kuminga, and Wiseman. These guys on another team would probably get more of an opportunity to play than they're going to get here, but I would say that because of the aging and established roster, that the Warriors are the most minute-conscious team in basketball, right? Are they not? Imagine if Steve Kerr really does have that year where he's looking to buy rest and looking to mold the future all at the same time. The two timelines appeared on the same roster last year, but they did not really meet. If this is the year where the timelines actually crisscross and older players can rest while younger players get the run that they need to continue to develop, this is going to be a fascinating year of Warriors basketball. I mean, it's been fascinating based on where the hell it is we are starting this year. But, man, when we just get this Draymond Jordan incident behind us and it's about the basketball, that's all that matters. How are you playing? I think the Warriors are going to play some great basketball this year. I really do.
They're set up for it. And the one thing that I do think the Warriors have the ability to do now is a little more plug and play when you want to give a specific player a night off. And I'll just use Steph Curry as an example. You want to give Steph Curry a night off here or there, you can plug Jordan Poole right into the lineup and he can play with Klay Thompson. You want to give Klay Thompson a night off, you can plug Jordan Poole in and play him right next to Steph Curry, as they did at the beginning of last year when they got off to the 18-2 and even 31-13 start if you push it out farther. And so they've got the ability to do that, and they still have a veteran guard behind them on nights where they do that in DiVincenzo. Moses Moody looks like he's ready to be a every night part of the rotation, but they're also set up well, Damon, to do what I thought was really successful for them last year, which is these nights where everybody's going to take the night off on the second of a back-to-back. And there weren't a lot of them. I want to say maybe 4 or 5 or 6. I may be off 1 or 2 on that, but they gave everybody the night off, and they said, you know what? Poole, Moody, Kuminga,
Oklahoma City is yours.
Detroit is yours. And they picked 5 or 6. San Antonio was one, and they won a couple of the games. They won in Miami on a night late in the year where they did that, and Jordan Poole went off in that game, getting back in the starting lineup as he finished the year strong. That was a big part of it. But this year you can do it with, you could go Poole, you could go Moody, you could go Kuminga, you could go JaMychal Green, you could go James Wiseman, and they all play. That was the starting lineup last night, if I'm not mistaken. And then you've still got bench players, but you can just let them go. Like, you've got a full lineup of guys, and those I think will be the nights, Damon, where Wiseman can play 25 minutes or 30 minutes, whereas he also has the ability to play 10 or 15 minutes in the full rotation and have that be beneficial. There's just a lot of flexibility with, if you need a little more development on a given night, you have it and you can do it. If you don't, there are specific roles carved out for most of these young players to thrive in the context of a veteran team trying to win a championship. They got it both ways.
And if we can take this whole show back to where it kind of started, having a team like that, having players who are going to demand attention and minutes and so on and so forth, sports are fragile.
Mm-hmm.
Locker rooms are fragile. Egos, reputations, chemistry. It's all so very, very fragile. That's why the Warriors, just for the sake of the season that is coming, need to move on from everything that we have seen in the last week on the video of the punch heard round the NBA and Steve Kerr. For those who wanted to dismiss the severity of this on its surface and then saw the video and still wanted to insist this was much ado about nothing, Steve told you conclusively that you handicapped this whole thing wrong.
This is the biggest crisis that we've ever had since I've been coach here. It's really serious stuff. We're not perfect. Our team isn't perfect. Bob and I have definitely made our share of mistakes over the years, but we're going to lean on the experience that we have together over the last 9 years and trust that this is the best decision for our team. We have a lot of work to do, all of us, players, coaches, Bob in the front office, but we're committed to doing that work together and to making this a really successful season.
And at the centerpiece of the Golden State Warriors functioning the best that they can function, of course, you find Steph Curry.
Jordan obviously had to be involved in this, and the players have been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Steph has been working like crazy to try to figure out the best way to move forward. So he's been organizing some of these conversations, and Jordan and Draymond got together and had a great discussion that I think will help us move forward. So after this entire week of everything and just assessing everything, this feels right.
And Steph, if he's telling you it feels right, if Steve Kerr and Bob Myers, and maybe most importantly, Jordan Poole is telling you it feels right to just move on from this, then it is the right thing to do. A lot of people are going to leave this entire situation unsatisfied, JD.
Mm-hmm.
They are not going to be happy that Draymond did not serve up the pound of flesh that they wanted with a suspension. The Warriors obviously aren't divulging the monetary fine that they assessed on Draymond. Care to guess? What do you think it was?
I think the maximum fine is $50,000, if I'm not mistaken. And so I would imagine this was probably the maximum.
So, look, through in the history of the NBA, we've had players who were, assessed $250,000 fines, but those were assessed by the NBA as the governor of the fine, not the actual team itself. Vladimir Radmanovic had a $500,000 fine when he didn't disclose the injury that he had suffered. Obviously, Joe Lacob became the latest member of the $500,000 fine club when he went on Andre Iguodala's podcast and talked about financial futures and whatnot. And Mark Cuban has been fined severely. We've seen the Minnesota Timberwolves fined as an organization about $3 million at one time. So, but biggest player fine by own team, I'm having a little trouble finding that. So if you're saying it caps out around 50, I'm sure they probably gave Draymond the full, full platter.
Yeah, and I hadn't seen it reported anywhere. They're worried about leaks now, obviously. So maybe they don't want it to leak how much that fine ultimately is. But yeah, I would think this would do.
I don't think it would be unreasonable to say we're not going to suspend you for a game, but we are going to be fining you a game check.
Sure.
Well, but a game check for a player with Draymond's contract is a significant chunk of money.
Is it like $300K?
Yeah. Well, he's got a $25.8 million salary over 82 games. That's about $314,000 a game.
There you go.
So that would be a number that is significantly over any $50,000 cap, if that's indeed what it is. So. Just interesting to see it all play out. And now the key to this really playing out well is moving on, winning, and Jordan Poole being satisfied that the best thing to do is to get past this. And he seems to be. That's certainly what Steve Kerr has said, he knows that the team's reputation has taken a big hit over this.
We take great pride in what we've built here, the continuity, the culture. There's no way around it. That culture has been damaged by this incident. And so you have to work to repair that. You have to find that vibe again every day. The beauty of this game and what our team has been about is finding that joy in the game, but also within the team, with the relationships, with the goal, with the collective in mind. When it's right, like it was last year, like it's been many times, you can feel it. And when it's wrong, and you guys have watched us, there have been some times where it has been wrong. You can see that, you can feel that. So we got to work hard internally to try to regenerate the vibe that we need, because we know, we've lived this. You don't win championships on talent alone. It takes chemistry. It takes, a collective will and a trust, and that has to be rebuilt right now.
As the kids would say, it's a vibe. And indeed it is. Indeed it is. One more note here from Kerr saying that if Jordan Poole wasn't Jordan Poole, revealing himself to be the serious mannish entity that is required to get through a situation like this, none of this could be happening.
What I will say, my observation of Jordan is that he's an incredibly mature young guy. I think we've seen that on the basketball side with his work ethic and his ability to work through, his rough rookie season and go to the G League bubble and do everything to get where he is now. It takes a lot more than just talent. So this is a pretty special young guy. And it was already reported after the incident, he worked out for another hour on his shot, came out, whatever it was, a couple nights later and scored 15 straight points at one point. He's cool. Not much phases him. And I think that's part of why we're going the way we're going, because we know that he's fine. We know that he's willing to move forward. He's willing to basically get back out on the floor with Draymond and go to work.
And again, if Jordan Poole is cool with it, who are we to not be cool with it, right?
That's a great call.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. When we come on back, we got ourselves a What If Wednesday. I even forgot it was Wednesday, but indeed it is. We will dare to tread upon questions that no other show would even care to address. That's what we're going to do next, JD. Oh, I need to let everyone know, by the way, tomorrow's going to be kind of a cool day in studio. We're going to have the rookies, Patrick Baldwin Jr. and Ryan Rollins. They're going to be visiting in studio. Looking forward to that. Did I hear you're with Steiny tomorrow now?
Yeah, I was going to be with you, and I was really looking forward to that, but I think Guru needed the day off, so I think I got bumped back into that slot, and I think you're going to have Larry back tomorrow.
Steiny needs to be made comfortable. You are like music to Steiny's ears. I don't know if we can just throw like a new guy like Larry in with Matt Steinmetz. It would be unfair to both. So thank you very much. All I can tell you is that it's been a pleasure as always working with you. I was ready to roll with you tomorrow. You know that,
as was
man.
I.
You know, right?
As was I.
But indeed, Kruger, we'll be back tomorrow. You're going to be on with Matt Steinmetz, and we want you to know that Ring Night is coming up on Tuesday. Nothing has happened before it. But Ring Night's coming up on Tuesday. The Warriors are hosting the Lakers, and believe it or not, you might still be able to get in there. You can get some tickets now at Warriors.com or call 888-GSW-HOOP. Representatives are standing by to see if you can get into opening night. We're coming on back with a What If Wednesday here on 95.7 The Game.
Everything, our farm, our stand, our pop-up shop, it really all started when we discovered the benefits of local, raw honey for our family.
And then we decided to turn it into a business.
We were looking for something to help us get up and running.
So we got the Chase Business Complete Banking Account.
It's more than a bank account. It comes with Quick Accept, which lets us take card payments anytime, anywhere in the U.S. using the Chase mobile app. Plus, we get same-day deposits at no extra cost. For us, it's more than honey. It's about sharing a little sweetness with the world.
Get the Chase Business Complete Banking Account with the essentials you need to help get your business going. Learn more at chase.com/business-complete-banking. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Quick Accept is not available in U.S. territories. Enrollment required. Usage subject to approval. Same-day deposits available for payments before 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday to Friday. Fees and rates apply for checking and processing. Limitations and restrictions apply. Participants compensated. Merchant services provided by Payment Tech LLC and WePay Inc. Subsidiaries of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Do you think all premium fuels are the same? Well, your engine doesn't. Shell V-Power Nitro Plus helps keep your engine running like new because it's engineered to defend against 4 main engine threats: Gunk, wear, corrosion, and friction. So next time, choose Shell's most advanced fuel ever. It's fuel for thought. In engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline.
The following is an attorney advertisement. If you get sidelined by a workplace injury, the workers' compensation attorneys at Boxer & Gerson can help get you back in the game. Our team of skilled attorneys will fight by your side for the treatment and compensation you deserve. We care about justice for injured workers. That's what makes us Northern California's premier workers' comp law firm. Call Boxer & Gerson at 510-345-2341 or visit boxerlaw.com for a free consultation. Boxer & Gerson, your life is worth the fight.
Kirby is your driveway mechanic. They bring the shop to you with brake replacements, oil changes, washes, and so much more. Get $50 off your first oil change with code OIL50 at Kirby.com. That's CURBEE.com and use code OIL50.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-200-1966. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-200-1966. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-200-1966. 800-200-1966.
At Harris Ranch, we do beef, just like we've done for over 50 years. Beef that's raised locally right here in California. Tender steaks, awesome burgers, and California classics like tri-tip roast. The flavor you crave, the quality you trust time after delicious time. Come on, it's time to get out and grill. Harris Ranch, we do beef. Legendary beef, legendary quality.
Blink 182 is back. June 22nd, 2023 at the SAP Center. And 95.7 The Game has your shot at tickets. For your chance to win, head to 957thegame.com/contests.
Let me guess. Unknown caller? You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
What's your retirement look like? With Fidelity Income Planning, a dedicated advisor can help you create a flexible income strategy to grow and protect your wealth so you can stop worrying about the future and enjoy whatever comes next. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, member NYSE SIPC.
Here's what happened today on The Game. presented by the County of Santa Clara. The Morning Roast from 6 to 9.
Now, Wiseman moving the way he did. Offensively, he has all the tricks in the book. I mean, raise jumper, three, around the rim, ripping the rim down. He's got it all offensively.
Willard and Dibbs from 9 to noon.
Dave ruiners when you get pulled over at the Bay Bridge Toll Plaza for being in the carpool lane and you got a $400 ticket or whatever the ticket is. That is a day ruiner. So,
Steiny and Guru from noon to 3.
If they're not mad and they can move on, Matt, I'm calling you Matty. That's my new nickname for you. How the hell am I going to come in here and rip the mic out and be mad?
And Damon and Ratto from 3 to 6.
But I guess my point is if the team is cool with this and you rock with the team, you almost by default have to be cool with it too.
The best of the game, presented by the County of Santa Clara. Book a COVID-19 booster shot now at sccfreevax.org or call 211. Now back to Damon and Ratto, brought to you by BMW Fairfield on 95.7 The Game. What if I told you hindsight is always 20/20?
The Minnesota Timberwolves select Stephen Curry.
That everything happens for a reason.
With the first selection in the 2005 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Aaron Rodgers, quarterback from California.
What if I told you it's time for What If Wednesday?
I tell you, Lucas was about to start asking questions. That's what I would tell you. By the way, welcome on back. Our final dabble of Damon and Ratto today. John Dickinson. Always a pleasure, brother.
Always fun, man.
Always a pleasure. Thanks to Jeff Wilson Jr. He was a total pleasure. I suggest you seek that interview out. If you are a 49ers fan, you will like it. What are we going to be pondering today?
And I'm actually gonna pick up where you just left off. I can tell you that Jeff Wilson Jr. interview will lead off best of the game coming up in about 10 minutes.
Love
so
it.
stay locked in right at 6 o'clock. You can hear that interview if you didn't hear it.
What about Name That Incident? Did that make best of?
TBD. That's a sterling decision. I wasn't in charge of that one.
All right.
Stay tuned around 6:47.
Yeah, find out. Exactly.
Okay, I have two stories. Would you like the Warriors story first or the second? Would you like to
We've
end
been
with
talking Warriors all day, so give me something else.
All right, and people know to call right now so that their phone gets on the air. Let's not do that. Wonderful. The story out of the NFL.
Could mute it, but
Well, we got janky appliances around here. So
blame the appliances.
Yeah, they don't fully mute. The story around the NFL today is that the Miami Dolphins are officially taking their business seriously. Mike McDaniel said that Tyreek Hill and the rest of the team captains today decided to take ping pong tables out of the locker room.
He's a competitor.
In an effort to focus more intently on their upcoming opponent. It's been a rough couple weeks with everything they're dealing with down there, head injuries, all of that. My question is, what if you were a head football coach or a manager? How would you deal with fun in the locker room? We've seen right here in our own backyard with the Giants, Gabe Kapler has allowed, the DJ to play loud music with all the lights and crazy stuff like that. Would you allow fun in your locker room, or do you want it to be strictly about your team and your upcoming opponent?
Go ahead.
I would allow fun. I know a lot of people are like, whoa, really? I'm surprised. But no, I would allow fun. To me...
Dude, JD gets loose. Who doesn't know that?
You need to be... I think there's a perception that I'm a little more uptight than I actually am. I could be wrong.
Hashtag, baby. Hashtag.
Could be projected. Well, you know me in a different manner. You know me in a different light, David.
Let me just say...
I want fun, though. I want everybody to be loose and comfortable. But, and if you want to have fun, have fun. But there's no fun mandate either if you're somebody that gets down in a more quiet way.
I would no longer be the coach that would insist on a dress code because I'm a big believer in look good, feel good, play good. So whatever you got to do to think you're feeling good, whatever you got to do to think I'm on it today, whatever you got to do to feel good. A little game of ping. Hey, I was once playing ping pong and ding dang. Whenever I've watched the Miami Dolphins, I've never once thought there's a team that's going asunder because of ping pong. It's ping pong that is holding the Dolphins back. So, but okay, it's all business now, baby.
Yeah, and things have changed quick with Miami. Not to get lost in the weeds there, but I mean, Mike McDaniel was the darling, and everything was going great.
I was reading about how he wore Yeezys and people loved him, and now he's Attila the Hun.
That seems a little quick to be taking like an overreaction. I don't know. Well,
let me just tell you. You cannot satisfy everybody in this world. And 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we're literally saying, oh my God, Tua, how these quarterbacks need some protection. This week we're saying, defenders should be allowed to cut quarterbacks in half. That's the football that I grew up liking. So again, what you're angry about next week will be what you're complaining doesn't happen enough the following week. But yeah, the honeymoon's over for Mike McDaniel in terms of court of public opinion. There's no doubt. What is your other real quick Warrior question?
My Warrior question is, what if Draymond punched Steph or even Clay instead of Jordan Poole? Where's the line? Even Wiggins. Where's the line that Draymond's no longer on the team?
Well, definitely right on Curry's chin. I would say definitely on Klay Thompson's chin. I don't know if Andrew Wiggins gets chin check immunity. There's no touching of Draymond. There's no touching of Steph Curry. That's it. That's really it.
I'm going to go with Stickler he said not on the team. I think he'd still be on the team.
Does Steph want him around?
I really do. I think he'd still be around, even if now it's hard for me to fathom what how Draymond could possibly be that angry at Steph Curry for any reason. But
I don't know if the Warriors are ever going to look at Draymond Green on equal footing. He is one of us. He is our brother ever again. What Draymond might now represent is he is a means to an end. That's what he is. He's our junkyard dog. Sometimes your junkyard dog will bite you the hand that feeds it. But when you get into the biggest basketball fight of the year, you want your junkyard dog barking at the other team. So I think Draymond's a means to an end at this point. And we'll see if the real kumbaya brotherhood can actually get rebuilt. And I really don't care if everyone goes home not talking to each other in their own personal hours. Win. That's it. That's why we're there. The victory machine. Let's fire it up once again. Great show today. Thanks to everyone who called in. Thanks to everyone who wanted to play Name That Incident. Thank you to Jeff Wilson Jr. JD, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you to That Side of the Glass. Really appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow. The rookies will be in studio. Patrick Baldwin Jr. and Ryan Rollins. Looking forward to getting to know them. Obviously, since they've showed up, Draymond's behavior has changed. Maybe it's their fault. I can just see the look on Raymond Ritter's face if I start the interview with that. And maybe it's your guys' fault. Draymond's acting like it. Yeah, bye. It was nice meeting you both. There it is.
Now we got an hour to fill.
Yeah. Sports don't build character. They reveal it.
And like that, he's gone.